Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Once More, a rewatch podcast with two best pals. We're rewatching, reviewing, and revisiting our favorite TV shows and series and movies.
We sure are.
I'm Ryan something.
And I'm Jen Katz. And I am not ready.
We have a two-part episode of
Buckle up.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer for you. It's going to be a little longer podcast, but we guarantee to make it enjoyable and funny.
So today we're going to be covering Surprise and Innocence, which if you have seen Buffy before, I know this is your second time watching this season, you know this is when the game changes. Sure, we had season 1 where Buffy dies and has to confront the Master. This is different.
Even in that episode, you didn't come away thinking, oh, this is a game changer.
Not really,
in fact,
no.
It ended and we were like, you're just going to the prom.
We're just going to prom.
Business as usual. Business is not as usual at the end of these two episodes.
Really not. And while these episodes aired separately, it's similar to What's My Line Part 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Surprise ends and then Innocence picks up immediately after. I mean, Surprise ends with to be continued.
Right.
We go straight into it. So we figured let's talk about these two episodes as one complete story because I feel that it is one complete story.
So Jenny,
we're gonna cut the fluff and get right into it.
Straight into it. All right.
So today we will be discussing the 13th and 14th episodes of the second season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Surprise and Innocence. Surprise was written by Marty Noxon. We've been seeing her name a lot this season.
Yeah, she's picking up steam.
And was directed by Michael Lang. It aired on the WB on January 19th, 1998. Innocence was written and directed by Joss Whedon. It aired on...
Came out the day after, back to back, which is interesting.
It's very interesting. Why wouldn't they have just aired them at the same day?
Yeah, your target audience knows that you're going to be aired on one day, and then you're taking a chance that they're all going to be at home in front of their televisions to catch part 2.
I would have if I was watching this live.
Yeah.
I would have been glued.
I don't know what time these shows came out. Like mid-afternoon? Is this after school?
No, I think this was a prime time by season 2. We'll get production on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are screaming at us. And if you are, write in. Let us know.
So Google says that Surprise features Spike and Drusilla gathering body parts of a dismembered demon to help them in their plan to get rid of Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
And Innocence, Buffy must destroy Angel after he loses his soul and reverts to his evil persona, Angelus. And Giles learns that Ginny is a Romani.
Yeah.
So lots of secrets exposed and lots of character development coming your way.
Yeah. Like we said, the stakes have been raised. Everything has changed. This is a nexus point, I think, with Buffy. The innocence is lost, although you could argue their innocence should have been lost when they realized they're living in a world of vampires and demons. But innocence is lost. This is different. This is so much different than anything Buffy has done before. And it's one of my favorite arcs that they do in the series.
Absolutely. There's no notes on that point.
Yeah. Whew. All right. So I guess we got to get into it. Did you notice?
We have a cold open.
What we don't have is Every Generation.
We don't. We do not.
Ryan, will you do us the honors?
I would. Yeah.
Because I don't know about you all. Sorry.
You're making me blush.
I think Ryan has a great voice.
Okay.
And I'm not the only one who said that.
You're just listening to yourself talk because it's all going to be cut.
And maybe this is the end of Giles reading it. So I think from now on, I vote that you, Mr. Ryan something, read us this Every Generation, every episode.
I vote that we share it because I do love your various different versions of your variations, your accent variations on this. I'm waiting for your Scottish one.
Oh, in every generation, there is a chosen one.
Yes.
No. So anyway, would you do us the honors, please?
She alone will stand against the McGregors and the McDonalds
and the McLeods
and the McLeods and the Frasers.
And the Frasers.
Oh, God. Claire Fraser.
Claire. Okay, sorry.
In every generation, there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
Nice. Like, how soothing is that?
I think it's
you have a great voice. And if you're listening, voice actor, voice work over here. Come on. Okay.
Or musician. I do sing.
Oh, that you do sing.
Yeah.
Guys, we're really avoiding this because this is such Oh, it's so hard to talk about some of this, but it's great. Great. Okay.
So, cold
surprise.
open.
Yeah.
Buffy's
Buffy's
having
room.
a dream.
She is.
Or a premonition. It's hard to tell.
Prophecy, maybe.
But there's something happening here.
Mm-hmm.
She wakes up. She's got to take a drink of her water. She's got some nice jams on.
And she's still in full makeup. Full geesh.
Full makeup. And as she makes her way down the hall, she turns back because she hears something.
But she doesn't see her.
That she's in the bronze.
Well, before that, Drusilla's behind her, but she doesn't see Drusilla.
Yeah. When Buffy turns back, Drusilla steps out behind her.
Right.
We see Drusilla.
Yes.
Buffy does not. Buffy sees the bronze. And she's like,
yeah.
Wait.
What's happening?
This is the bronze. And who's there?
Well, lots of extras, lots of background extras, but I want to point out I've got 2 sleighs and it's the first 2 seconds of the episode. Buffy's silk jammies, great jammy set.
Great jammy set.
Drusilla's black gown. Dress. She's got the blood on her lip. Just no, it's looking great. Yeah.
This must have been the post-Christmas budget because they all look great. They must have gone shopping after the holidays, got everything on sale. But all the costuming in these next 2 episodes is spot on.
Agreed.
Lots of sleighs.
Yeah. So like you said, she opens the bathroom door and suddenly it's the bronze.
It's the bronze.
We haven't seen the bronze in a few episodes.
It's been a while
since I've seen the bronze.
And Willow spots her as she walks in and she starts telling her in French something about her pajamas, that she likes her PJs.
That's right. And there's a monkey.
There's like a monkey, which is very interesting. I don't know what the symbolism is with the monkey crank. Whoa.
Like here. So I don't know if there's so much a symbolism for the dream, but it's a throwback to What's My Line Part 2 when Willow is talking to Oz at the end and they're getting the animal crackers. And the animal crackers.
What is a monkey?
It's a monkey wearing a little hat.
Great.
And Oz says, they speak French. Monkeys only speak French.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Look how they did that.
That's what they do.
Buffy also sees Joyce.
Yeah, Joyce is at the bronze.
Yes, Joyce is holding a plate,
a cup of coffee, and a smile.
And then she lays into Buffy about something. I can't remember what.
Well, she says, "Do you really think you're ready, Buffy?" And then drops the saucer, I guess, is underneath her coffee cup, and it shatters.
We see the plate fall.
Mm-hmm.
And then they pan to it on the ground, so we know.
You guys know.
The plate has fallen and shattered in this exact way.
Yeah. I wonder why they're making that such a big deal.
Nod, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, look.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And then
she sees Angel.
Yes. And the whole time there's this great song.
Oh, yeah.
Titled Anything, which is featured in this scene. It was written for this scene.
I never knew that. That's so cool.
Did you know that Buffy had resident composers for the show?
No, I did not.
Sean Clement and Sean Murray.
I love that.
Composed this, and Carrie Howell was the vocalist on the track.
It's a beautiful song.
It's really cool. It's talking about love and is this feeling what I'm feeling, and I feel fire like a house of flame.
Yes, and that's what's happening. Yeah. So good. When you told me that today, I was like, that's fucking cool.
First thing I picked up on, I hear the voice. She says, "Take me over. I'm lying down. I'm giving in to you. I'm a hurricane. I can't describe this feeling. Now that I've found this love, I'll do anything for you. Now that I've found this love, I'm a fire burning like a house of flame. I'm motionless. I cannot move or see you fly. Now that I've found this love, I'll do anything for you." Those are the lyrics to this song.
Wow.
And it's interesting because if you look at the bookend of this episode, it starts with this song and it ends with this song. In a different way.
Again, I love this show and watching it with other people because people pick up on things that I have never even thought of. So thank you for your investigative journalism.
Yeah. There was a note in Pop Culture Happy Hour.
Love
that mentioned
PCHH
talking about soundtracks and how once upon a time, I think they were talking about the Twister movie. They were saying, hey, the soundtrack for this film is great.
Yeah,
it was dropped on Spotify. They said it's like 29 hours of music or something.
Whoa.
It's like crazy. They're like, you could sit with it for like an entire day and listen to this. And all of them were lamenting the days where the soundtrack was as big as the movie itself. In some cases, even bigger if the movie was terrible, but the soundtrack hit. And, Buffy, as we work our way through these seasons and we hear different artists playing at the Bronze, and now picking up that they actually had like resident composers for the show who were writing music for specific scenes.
Cool.
It's really cool how they're using music to kind of set the mood.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Love it. Yeah. So Buffy sees Angel and she kind of lights up. She gets this great smile. Angel's wearing a red velvet or velour button up. He smiles.
I thought it was black.
No, it was red, like a dark red.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's coming towards Buffy, and out of nowhere, Drusilla comes up, stakes him.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy and Angel's hands, there's like a shot of their hands reaching towards one another, and his hand turns to dust.
She stabs him in the back.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of imagery there.
And then Drusilla looks at Buffy and says, "Happy birthday, Buffy." Great.
That was good.
Thank you. It was a great opener for this episode. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And then Buffy wakes up.
She wakes up. Well, before she wakes up. Oh, no. Yeah, she wakes up and she's like breathing heavy. She's scared. Cut to credits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after the credits, we go to Angel's bachelor apartment.
Yeah. And listen, it is clearly daylight. And they even talk about Buffy's going over there on her way to school.
Yeah, she's going on her way to school.
She had this dream. She wanted to go check in because, you know, she's known to have premonitions in her dreams because she is the Slayer.
Right.
She doesn't always listen to them. But
they are very convenient.
Right. And we also know, as Giles points out later in this episode, that it's just a dream, that it's not necessarily a prophecy. And even then a prophecy, you know, as we know.
Prophecies are tricky creatures.
They are tricky little things. So, you know, she's just trying to piece it together. So, you know.
Well, and as we discuss in this episode, it becomes very apparent, Buffy's feelings for Angel have leveled up. They're in a much more intense place in their relationship. It's not just like, you know, hot broody guy, la la. It's like
they both have.
Yeah.
They're both on the same page. They are an item.
They are.
Last episode, she called him her boyfriend.
She did. And nobody messes with my boyfriend.
You know, he's going to her house to smooch so she doesn't have to go all the way to his place when she was grounded.
Yeah.
And we think she's clearly not grounded anymore.
Clearly.
Some time has passed since the last episode. But my point here, and I've deviated far from it, is that there is sunlight coming down the staircase as she walks to the basement. And it looks like there's sunlight coming into his apartment. But again, it could just be really good vamp interior lighting.
I think, you know, Angel, if you look at his apartment, stolen artwork aside, I feel like
half the British
Museum is in there. I think he is an interior guy. He probably was very thoughtful with his lighting, I think. And look,
he can't be in the sunlight, so maybe he's gonna give him some, you know, bright light at home.
Give him what he can, you know. Yeah. And speaking of giving him what he can, he answers the door without a shirt. Well, and I'm like, Angel,
she's coming to his apartment in the morning. I don't have a shirt on either.
No, I thought it was funny because Buffy's obviously knocking really like something's wrong. And so I feel like if someone was knocking on my door, like bang, 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 if I didn't have a shirt on, I'd be like, let me shrug something on. This seems serious.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's such a nitpick.
He'd probably put a shirt on.
But he looks great. How
serious it was. Yeah.
David Boreanaz, with all respect, say this with respect, he looks great without a shirt on.
Yeah, I think this is peak Angel right here.
He's tall. He looks great. Yeah. We see his angel tattoo on his back.
Still got a little bit of a baby face.
Yeah, he's still in his early 20s, I think, when they film this. Yeah, and
he's still fluffy.
Buffy she's really scared. She's like, I had a bad dream. You know, Drusilla killed you and it felt so real. And he's like, it was just a dream. He's trying to soothe her. He's like, hey, what else did you dream about? And she's like, well, I had a dream that Giles and I opened an office supply warehouse in Las Vegas. He's like, okay, so that's not going to happen.
And then they start smooching.
Before they start smooching, though, point of order. And point of order button is coming. I'm already working on it.
The last 3 episodes.
Everyone hold me to this. Next episode, when we talk about phases, I'll have point of order buttons. Okay. So
you heard it here.
Folks. She says, I'm really worried. You know, we didn't find Drusilla's body. Why would there have been a body to be found?
True.
When vampires die,
you make a good point.
They turn to dust. Even if you behead them, like you can only kill a vampire. We learn from Buffy. We learn from her mouth, season 1, beheading, burning, staking.
Okay.
So
you're sticking to that.
that's what the canon of the show.
Oh.
So why would she expect to see a body if she would have died? It doesn't make sense.
Point of order.
Oh, bring it on.
The master left a skeleton.
Point of order. He was old.
Well, Angel's kind of old.
He's not that old.
How old's Drusilla? She's younger than Angel.
She's younger than Angel. So she definitely would have dusted.
So you build a skeleton over time? As a
production. So according to production, this was a creative decision by Joss Whedon et al. That one, the master, to demonstrate how old he is, like thousands of years old, he's never out of vamp face. Never out of vamp face. And because he's so old, he basically develops a skeleton that calcifies and can't be destroyed. Like when he does, it doesn't turn to dust. Yep. So,
and do they prefer like blood that's more like tapioca pudding, like kind of consistency? God. When they get that age,
listeners, right in.
All right.
Does he prefer
we're on scene
Matlock? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So after she says that, he's basically like, okay.
Matlock. God damn you.
So they start smooching now. Because Angel's just, he's trying to just, let's move on. He's trying to soothe her and they want to make out. And she's like, I have to go to school. And he says no. And he grabs her back.
And I said, sir, she has to go to school.
She's a teenager.
Let her go to school.
Ooh, tough. And
God.
Buffy's kissing him. She says, you feel. I'm like, oh.
Hard.
Ooh. And they're doing the thing where they're, he back and forth. And he finally says, you need to go to school. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you're making it hard for me. Step back, I gotta go to class.
Because I'm a 16-year-old.
From you.
Is that your vamp face or are you happy to see me? Okay, so Angel says
asking the questions you want to know.
Ding. He says, you still haven't told me what you want for your birthday. And what does Buffy say?
I think we know what she wants. Listen, we've all been there where we've been trying to get out the door and we're being smooched and we got a decision to make. Are we going to go to class?
Are we going to stay with our bicentennial age boyfriend?
Are we going to go to college class that we're paying for? Or are we going to stay home and smooch?
This is oddly specific, Ryan.
Yes.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, stay home and smooch.
Gotta stay home and smooch.
Make blueberry muffins. Wink, wink. You know who you are. Okay. But smooching.
Well,
smooching leads to
more smooching.
Surprise birthday presents.
Surprise.
Surprise.
So, yes. To answer the original question, Buffy responds with, surprise me.
Surprise me.
And she tells him, seeing you first thing in the morning. And he says, well, it's bedtime for me. She says, I like seeing you at bedtime. And she's like, oh, wait. She gets so flustered.
No,
she's 16.
She says, I like you at bedtime. She tells Willow that she said, I like you at bedtime.
And then she starts to stammer. We're building up that they're getting close to taking the next step in their relationship, which is intimacy, sexual intimacy. And, she says the part at the end of the night where we say goodbye, it's getting harder. And Angel's like, oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you can say that again.
But he says, yeah, it is. Anywho, cut to Sunnyvale High School. Buffy and Willow were
looking great.
Looking great. I hate Willow's hat, but it is of the time.
Listen, Willow is wearing a peak 90s outfit.
She is.
For that style.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Buffy also looks great. She's got the little kind of 60s shift dress. She
is giving Cordelia a run for her outfit money.
I'm convinced that is Angel's beige jacket.
Could be. It's kind of big on her.
It's big on her.
They wear a lot of oversized stuff in this show.
And Willow's like, I like you at bedtime? You said that?
She's like, I did. I said that.
Yeah. And she's like, that's like Moxie or something. I love Willow this episode. Yeah, I do too. And obviously they're talking about Buffy and Angel having sex, like taking, and she's like,
yeah, Willow figures that out. She's like, oh,
yeah,
you're talking about taking that step.
Right.
And then all really she has, her response is just, Wow.
Wow. Yeah. What does she say?
She says to act on what?
On want.
She said to act on want can be wrong, but to not act on want, what if it never feels this way again?
Yeah.
And Buffy's weighing the prospect of having sex with Angel.
She is. And
because she's feeling it. She wants to.
Oh God, this was very relatable as a former 16-year-old girl, having conversations with your girlfriends about, am I ready? Are we going to do this? And God, yeah, Willow's being so supportive. She's not judgmental.
No.
She's just like, she asked Buffy, I think at one point, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
She's not like, you guys should. You haven't already, whatever. Like, it was just supportive. Yeah. What do you want? And she says, Angel, he's not the type to push. Like, she's being supportive about Angel. This is across the board peak Willow in these episodes in a lot of ways. I love Willow. She's
just a good friend. There's no blueprint for this. They're both going through this at the same time. I think part of Willow's like, wow, is Buffy's considering this. And also, wow, we're of that age where we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that gets her to start thinking about herself, which perhaps we'll see here.
Perhaps. I mean, when we meet Willow, she's still dressed like a little girl.
Right.
And so it's the character development. Yeah. You're spot on. It's like Willow's not only saying, wow, my best friend might be having sex with her boyfriend. It's we're at this age where this is happening. And, she tells Buffy when Buffy's kind of hemming and hawing, she's like, carpe diem. That's what you told me once. And Buffy says, fish of the day.
That's great.
No, seize the moment. And Buffy's like, well, speaking of seizing any moments.
Yeah, she looks over and she sees Oz sitting at a bench with his guitar.
Strumming his bass.
And Buffy's like, hey, speaking of potential, there's Oz over there. What are you thinking? My sparkage?
Yeah. So he's really nice and I like his hands.
Yeah, well, a fixation on insignificant details is a definite crush sign, Buffy says.
Oh, I love this scene so much. I like it.
Yeah, it takes me back to being a teenager.
Oh my gosh,
to high school, and these things are just kind of like that fresh energy, like at the beginning of this relationship, like with these individuals.
It's so sweet.
It's so sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Willow says, "Oh, I don't know though. I mean, he's a senior."
Which now we know how old Oz is.
Oz is a senior.
They're juniors. Yeah.
Buffy stops and she says, "You think he's too old because he's a senior? Please." My boyfriend had a bicentennial. I
laughed
lost
out
it.
loud.
I did.
So funny.
I did.
Which
is a little, that's true, I guess.
It's kind of funny because you're laughing like, but then you're also kind of
like, But, Willow says you can't spend the rest of your life waiting for Xander.
Buffy says that, yeah.
Excuse me. Buffy says you can't spend the rest of your life waiting for Xander to wake up and smell the hottie. Which she
Preach, sister.
She said, make a move. Do the talking thing.
Yeah, and Willow's a little nervous, but she does.
That's right. We cut to Oz.
Yeah, which Oz, I love Oz's characterizations throughout the show. He's always got a different hair color.
He does.
He's got the little earrings. He just looks so cool.
This is such a great scene, Jenny. It is. Would you like to make this a vampire black box theater moment?
Only if I can be Oz.
Okay, sure.
Let's do it. On today's episode of Vampire Black Box Theater, the role of Willow Rosenberg will be played by Ryan something. And the role of, I don't know if we know his name yet, so I'm just going to say Oz. The role of Oz will be played by me, Jen Katz. Scene.
We cut to the bench where Oz is practicing his guitar. Willow walks around the bench and stands next to him. Hey.
Hey.
Do you guys have a gig tonight?
Oh no. Practice. See, our band's kind of moving towards this new sound where we suck. So practice.
I think you guys sound good.
Thanks.
I bet you have a lot of groupies.
It happens. Now I'm living groupie free nowadays. I'm clean.
Oh.
I'm going to ask you to go out with me tomorrow night, and I'm kind of nervous about it, actually. It's interesting.
Oh. Well, if it helps at all, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, it helps. It creates a comfort zone. Do you want to go out with me tomorrow night?
Oh, I can't.
Well, I see. I like that you're unpredictable.
Well, it's just that it's Buffy's birthday and we're throwing her a surprise party.
That's okay.
But you could come if you want to.
Well, I don't want to crash.
No, it's fine. Well, you could be my date.
All right. I'm in.
Willow smiles back and after a moment indicates that she has to go. Oz nods to give her the leave and she starts away, smiling widely. I said, date.
It's so cute.
It's the cutest. These two
are great.
I just want to like make them my alarm clock in the morning and just get up and like watch an Oz and Willow scene and just
so good.
Like, start the day on the right foot.
They're so cute.
They really are.
And Oz is such an amazing juxtaposition to fucking Xander, who we're about to get into here.
Yeah.
And, you know, Seth Green and Allison Hannigan, I think, knew each other before this. They have great chemistry.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like where you look at Buffy and Angel, Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Boreanaz, where you're like, oh, fire, passion. Willow and Oz have that, like, it's just sweet.
They've got good chemistry.
It's great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So to continue on that,
yeah.
I mean, here we are. We're kind of continuing this peak 90s theme, right? We've got the high school kids that are like kind of circling and asking each other out. And we've got two peak 90s performers in Miss Hannigan and
Allison
also
Hannigan,
and
Seth Green.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't
They're
remember
great.
their names. They're great. And we've got Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Anyway, this is just like peak 90s. You're 1998. This is fantastic. I love it. The outfits.
It's great.
All of it.
And I love, you know, we're about to get into Xander and Cordelia. All three of our main characters are having different relationship dynamics that there's
a lot of
they're trying to maneuver. And it's realistic for high school kids at the time. So
they're all having a Saturn return right now.
Yeah.
Things are shuffled up.
And so we cut to Cordelia's locker and Xander's kind of like lurking
behind her.
And so
badgering her.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you know, Buffy's party's tomorrow night. And Cordelia's like, I know we have to make such a big deal for Miss I Saved the World. You know, I have to cook and everything.
She's like, I have to cook.
Xander's like, you're cooking? And Cordelia says, you know, well, I'm chips and dip, girl. I love Cordelia Chase.
I love it.
She's so great. And you know, they're kind of going back and forth. And Xander, I don't like Xander. We all know this. And he's going to say some fucking things these two episodes where I hate.
A lot of fucking things.
But I do. He is trying to be vulnerable with Cordelia.
Yeah, well, they've been smooching for weeks now.
Weeks.
In the closet.
There's nary a closet in Sunnydale High School they haven't been smooching
that
in.
Xander hadn't been in. Smooching with someone. And, I mean, here they are. I was like, oh, they're having the talk.
Yeah.
And he brings it up. He's like, well, I thought maybe we could go together.
Yeah.
Like, as a date.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like as a couple.
Well, he even says, he's like, we should just admit that we're dating. And she says, groping in a broom closet is not dating.
You don't call it a date until the guy spends money.
He's like, fine, I'll spend and we'll grope. It just feels kind of whacked that we have to hide what we're doing from our friends. Xander's being vulnerable and she really shoots him in the foot or shoots him down. I don't know, not shoots him down, punches down at him. What's the phrase I'm looking for?
Yeah.
She insults him. She says,
insults him.
You have nothing to be ashamed of. Like, or no, of course you want to tell everybody. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
Right.
I do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she comes out with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, he gets his feelings hurt, but I don't like how he plays a victim by suggesting that he's got like multiple personalities and he's just a glutton for punishment. And it's the beginning of many phrases and just his character these next two episodes is just not the finest.
No, it's not. What does he say? He's like, you never forget I said anything. That was Jed. I have multiple personalities. That was idiot Jed.
It's one of my personalities.
Not good, buddy.
It's a glutton for punishment.
It's not good.
And I'm like, what? What are you trying to do? Play a victim here? It's like she said she's not ready. And you should have just said, okay, cool. We can take our time.
Right. And if he wants
meet
something
you at the party, we'll find a closet to smooch in.
Right. And that's what I wish would have happened with these two. Just having the honest conversation of, hey, Xander obviously wants more. Mm-hmm. And if she doesn't, both are fine.
We don't know what she wants.
We don't know what she wants.
I kind of feel like she's okay with what it is, but she's Cordelia Chase. You know, she has a certain image to uphold, and I think she's going to work through that with these conversations. It's like, hey,
mayhaps,
perhaps.
I do like that we're seeing they're doing this in a way that's not overt when they're talking about everybody's sexual experiences. Mm-hmm. To me, they haven't gone outright and said Buffy has never had sex, Willow's never had sex, Xander's never had sex, Cordelia's never had sex. Mm-hmm. But they
just kind of leave it open.
They leave it open. I mean, well, we can probably safely assume Willow hasn't, based off of her admitted lack of experience with dating and boys. Cordelia, I think we don't know. We know from Teacher's Pet, Xander has not had sex with anybody because Miss French needed a virgin.
I'm uncomfortable speculating about it all.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to speculate for salacious sake. I feel like the show is...
I'm not saying for salacious sake. It just feels kind of awkward speculating on someone's, virginity based upon their character that's written for them.
I know, but I feel like the writers that's what they're trying to be relatable to teenagers at the time, which is where everybody has different sexual experience levels.
I agree with all of that. Yeah, I agree with that. The way that this is written is very relatable, and the way that these relationships are unfolding, they're all having these very intimate conversations about where they are, and they're all in different places.
And it's like, and I guess my thing is, I appreciate it's not being hit over the head. They're not using the word
I do too.
Virgin. It's like
agreed.
People trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so agreed.
Then we catch up with Giles and Jennifer Calendar.
Speaking of another relationship,
I know.
Listen, all these guys are getting ready to get like a Yahtzee, like they're all these dice and just shake it up and throw it back out on the table.
I love Giles this episode. He is so sweet.
Peak.
Both episodes. He's peak dad Giles. Peak and I love it. I love it. Peak. Giles is excited for the party. He asks Xander, he's like, is everything ready? And Xander says, are you ready to get down, you funky party weasel?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. And Giles is like,
it was funny. And then he immediately follows it up with seeing Buffy and says, Buffy, I feel like a pre-birthday spanking coming on.
I'm sick. I need help.
What?
Why?
And Jenny Calendar's like, I'd curb that impulse if I were you, Xander. Thank you.
Giles should have said, shut the fuck up, is what Giles should have said. But
Xander's like, check, cancel spanking. And then Giles says to Buffy, are you all right, Buffy? You seem a little fatigued. I'm like, yeah, buddy. We're all fatigued with having to hear Xander and his quips.
He needs industrial strength therapy.
That's great timing.
It's gross. And the way he even plays it off, it's like he's talking in a walkie-talkie. He's like, under that, cancel the spanking. Shut the fuck up, Xander.
Shut up. He's on one.
It's not good. And Buffy tells Giles, I had a really rough night. I had a dream that Drusilla was alive. Yeah. She killed Angel. I couldn't stop her. Like, she's obviously very upset. She's shook. And she tells them she went to go check on Angel. And Xander makes some kind of crack about smooching and whatever. We're not even going to.
Giles dismisses him. He says, don't you have class to get you?
Yeah.
Sends him on his way. Buffy's trying to say, hey, this isn't just me being worried about Angel.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of have a feeling that something bigger is going on here.
Yeah.
And Giles doesn't dismiss it.
He doesn't. He tries to soothe her and be rational, but he's not like, oh, it's nothing. You're fine.
Yeah. Which is great. They're finally at a place where he can trust her a bit more about how she's feeling and her intuition.
Yeah. She's like, I feel like it was more than a dream. He's like, oh, some kind of pool tent.
Mm-hmm.
I love that word.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. I don't want to freak out. And he's like, well, no, hey, we can be on alert. Mm-hmm. If Drusilla is alive, we need to be prepared. Which, again, you guys didn't go back to the Methodist church and see if there were any big piles of dust? You just took the organ crash's word for it?
They made a donation.
Yeah, and I love that Giles was like, he does tell her, don't worry yourself unduly. We'll get into it.
That's it. Yeah, he's like, hey, he also knows that her birthday is coming up.
Yes.
So he's like really trying to make this week, I think, go smoothly for her. And I love that.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to us, he's also planning a surprise party with a couple of others.
So sweet.
It's great.
It's great.
Yeah, he's looking out for her right now. And that's good.
Like I said, peak Giles dad in these two episodes. So we cut to Spike and Drusilla's warehouse lair.
Ripper of our hearts. Okay.
Ripper. Yeah, so we're in the lair, the warehouse district.
To the lair. Dun, dun, dun.
And we see our good pal Dalton. Dalton, who's going to stick around for the whole show.
Dalton's
favorite.
Got something over his shoulder he's bringing in. You know, he's always moving shit around, stealing stuff, as Buffy says.
Yeah, he's like, you're always stealing things. Spike's alive. He's in a wheelchair.
He's in a wheelchair.
He's got like burns on his face. They're like bubbly burn things. It's pretty aggressive. So they're doing a good job of showing us that organ really fucked his ass up, I guess. Gotta go.
Too many pipes.
Yeah, I mean, Spike's probably into everything.
Fell on too many.
Oh, if I had a nickel.
Pipes.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so Spike is in a wheelchair, which a point of order. What is the line on how hard, like how intense vampires can be hurt or not? I don't know.
Listen, if the canon is they can, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But if it's just, we all know that, you know, vampires can bounce back pretty easily and they're pretty strong. He didn't look like he fell any certain way that would have caused him to be in a wheelchair. So
like
I don't know. I don't want to get too far in the weeds.
I know we'll get way in the weeds, but
I
it
do have
just
some questions.
It's one of those things where it's like these fools get kicked into things all the time.
All the time.
Buffy, I've watched Buffy kick a vampire in the spine.
I've watched Buffy whoop his ass.
But if Organ, what?
Falling face forward into an organ, carrying his bride.
His black goddess.
His little house on the prairie. What they call him in the last episode.
Rebecca of Sunny Hill Farm.
Rebecca of Sunny Hill Farm.
So we're at the lair. They're setting up for a party. You know, Spike's like, you sure you want to have this party here? Don't you want to have it in Vienna?
Drusilla's been busy.
She is. And Drusilla is back. She is like full tilt energy.
Right.
She's
not the old Drusilla that we knew before the conversion with Angel in the last episode.
That was a couple episodes ago now.
Ago. That's right. She was missing.
Yeah, because we had What's My Line Part 2, then Ted and Bad Eggs.
She's regained some strength and personality.
She's full strength, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's got this beautiful, God, Juliet Landau this episode, now that she's not doing the whole, I'm weak and I
need to go feed my baby.
Well, she's still doing that, but she's not so weak. And so she gets to have a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
And you can tell Juliet Landau's having fun with Drusilla. And she's got this beautiful red and black dress. It's like a little corset style and a red skirt. And she's got the red nails with the white tip. Looks great. And she's like looking at, you know, when Spike says, would you rather have the party in Vienna? She's like, but the invitations are already sent. I laughed a lot watching Drusilla. And, you know, Spike's over Sunnydale. He's like, hey, I've had it with this place. Fucking organs taking me out.
So Spike.
Yeah. And he's like, nothing's going the way it's supposed to.
So impatient.
He's like, I gotta, he is. If it doesn't go his way.
He's impatient. He's pouty.
Whereas Angel is like playing a long game. He'll figure it out.
A long game. He'll just disappear and brood.
Yeah. Spike's like
moping.
Spike wants to blow town.
Complaining. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Drusilla, what does she say? My parties are always perfect. Remember spine? Spine.
She says that I've got games for everyone.
Great.
I want to play games with Drusilla.
I know you do. You get
and
it.
So much fire.
You sit up a little straighter when Drusilla comes on screen.
They've got candles all over this place. Listen, that's a lot of fire for people who don't like fire.
Who are killed by fire. One of the few ways.
They're just like walking a tightrope as they're walking around that place.
I can't wait till we get to Drusilla dancing in the next episode. And she goes and she sees all the vampire minions setting it up, which I just noticed the minions are never out of vamp face.
No, they're always
Spike and Drew are out of vamp face, but they're always in full vamp.
The minions must be older.
See, it doesn't make sense.
She says these flowers are wrong.
They're all wrong.
They're all fake.
That's why they're wrong.
First off, they're all fake. She freaks out about flowers. I don't know what happens, but she snaps.
And she's just like, you know, Spike's trying to calm her down. He tells her, we'll get some more. Like, cool it, sister. And she goes to one of the packages. She's like, can I open one? And she's looking all, you know, at Spike. And he says, just a peek. And she's doing this. Thank God Juliet Landau's so good. She's like, like opening the gift. And she looks at, we don't see what's in the box. We're kind of like the camera POV is from under the box or in the box.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
It's an arm. She says, this will be the best party ever.
Mm. Dun, dun, dun.
We go to Buffy's kitchen.
We do. And Joyce is in her little
90s
robe
mom.
that we love.
I thought she was wearing it was like a kimono type of. Yeah,
it's like a robe.
And it's Buffy's birthday.
Like cranes on it or
so
something.
Cute.
Or
she looks great.
Birds of Paradise. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Buffy's birthday. She's 17. She's like, how does it feel to be 17, Buffy?
She's like, oh,
Well, no, she says, woke up feeling more responsible, more this. And Joyce has given her.
Yeah.
She's given her the look. And Buffy says, I hope we could maybe talk about me getting my driver's license.
Yeah. This is after Joyce said mall trip for your birthday.
Oh, God, no. I go to the mall. And I did go to the mall not too long ago. And it's sad. The outlet mall is sad.
Oh, yeah.
It is a sad place. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Gotta watch out for the tumbleweeds.
Yeah, you do. And Joyce, when Buffy says, we can talk about getting my driver's license, Joyce turns around. She's holding a plate. She says, do you really think you're ready, Buffy? Crap. It's like Christine Sutherland.
Yeah.
They didn't even pretend that she dropped it. She's holding it and then just goes.
And then again, the close-up shot of the plate.
It's so close up you can see the price tag
Broken
still
on the
on
floor.
it.
Yeah. They're like, we want you to know that this is
Mm-hmm.
made in China.
Yeah. And we go to Sunnydale High School.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny Calendar's computer lab class.
Love Jenny Calendar's classroom.
Love her outfit.
You and I both noticed the "Have Brain Today" sign.
We need that.
That was like
right here.
We do need that printed out.
The answer is no.
And then we've got like another bulletin board that talks about cyberspace.
The last frontier. I don't know if it says that.
You've got these giant monitors and
so funny.
It's just so good. It was literally my computer class in high school.
For sure.
Yeah. In a temporary building because Texas.
And she's a slay. She's got the wrap skirt, the fitted top. Oh, Jennifer, looking great.
Looking like a 90s gal.
Who is not a slay is this guy who walks in. He's got a beat up ass hat, kind of a rumpled suit. He's got a straight. That tie looks like it's made out of yarn. It's not good.
Uncle
Enyos. Yeah.
Played by
the business.
Well-known, recognizable sad face actor, Vincent Schiavelli.
Who's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome in childhood, but he gained fame as a character actor, mainly supporting roles. His better known roles include Fredrickson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which was
I remember that
Oscar-winning movie with Jack Nicholson and others. Mr. Vargas in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He was the subway ghost in the movie Ghost, which another great film with Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. He was the organ grinder in Batman Returns.
I remember that.
With Danny DeVito and was that Michelle? No. Was that Michelle Pfeiffer? Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's Catwoman.
And then he was Budgie Ding Dong in Death to Smoochie with Robin Williams and in 2002. Robin Williams and Edward Norton.
It has been a long time since I've seen Death to Smoochie.
It was an interesting movie. He was Chester in The People vs. Larry Flint, David Kaufman in Tomorrow Never Dies, James Bond. And he was in a 97 ABC executive, Maynard Smith and Man on the Moon. Anyway,
interesting.
Well-known character and very recognizable when you see him. And he's
that guy. When you see this actor, you're like, oh, that's that guy. I've seen him and stuff. Yeah.
So we find out that it is Jenny Calendar's uncle.
Uncle Enyos. And he's there. She says, oh, you startled me. So she knows who he is. And he says in a great accent, and by great, I mean not great. The elder woman says his pain is lessening. We're like, who is he referring to? Jenny says the curse still holds.
Okay.
Who are they talking about? And we do see him for a brief second standing outside the school in an earlier scene.
Oh.
Blink and you'll miss it. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice little nugget.
So he's like,
an Easter egg.
Jenny looks really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, she says the curse still holds. He's still tortured by all he's done. And this man who we learn is, her uncle Enyos, he says, the elder woman is never wrong. His pain is lessening. She can feel it. Jenny says, there's a girl. Like, what are they talking about?
I think I know.
You think you might know. And he gets irate. He's like, how could you let this happen? And then Jenny's...
Oh, did you think that you are Jenny Calendar?
That's right. You are Yana of the Calderosh people.
Yeah.
And
Romani.
she's Romani. We learn that these people, Jenny and her uncle Enos, are of the same tribe group of the girl that Angel killed and then was then cursed with his soul.
Okay.
Yeah. So
not a techno-pagan.
Well, maybe both. She's more than she's made herself out to be. I think she's still a techno-pagan, but she's also...
Did she go to Burning Man?
You think she just went back to where Uncle Enos is?
Were they doing something different?
I don't know. But, we learn...
Jenny Calendar, I thought I knew you. Now I don't.
Hey, like Giles and Buffy say, get out.
Yeah.
You've hurt us. You've hurt us deeply, Jennifer.
Taking my sticker off my laptop.
So we get Angel's name now. She says, I promise you, Angel still suffers. So we know they're talking about Angel. And he makes amends for his evil. He even saved my life. And Uncle Enos is like, so you forget that he just destroyed the most beloved daughter of your tribe, that he killed every man, woman, and child who touched her life. Vengeance demands that his pain be eternal as ours is.
Uncle Enos is unforgiving.
He's not having it.
He's not looking for justice.
Nope.
He's looking for vengeance.
Rest in peace, Uncle Enos. You would have really loved Dressing for Revenge by Taylor Swift. Okay. And he says, girl and him, it ends now. No matter what you do, you take her away from him. And Jenny says, I'll see to it. And we're like, okie dokie.
Snake in the grass.
It's not good. Back to my notes. Okay. So we go to the library, and Buffy's telling Giles about Joyce breaking the plate this morning.
Right.
So.
And how it was exactly like it was in her dream.
Yes.
So now she's worried.
Yeah.
And instead of waiting around, waiting for them to come to her, she wants to be proactive.
Right. She's like, we got to get ahead of this.
She wants to hunt.
Yes.
She wants to go looking for Angel, and she wants to go looking for
Drusilla
and Spike.
Yeah. She's like, we gotta nip this in the bud. And their conversation's cut off because Willow and Xander come in, and Willow's like, happy birthday, Bucky.
On today's episode of Bucky the Vampire Slayer. Bucky's hunting in the woods with buddies.
With buddies. Oh my God. Woo.
Here we go.
So Willow gives Buffy the hug, and she's all excited. And Willow's sweater, I want it. It's got a little Scotty dog on it.
Little Scotty.
So cute.
Super cute.
And they're talking about, she's like, oh, not happy, and they get her, catch her up to speed. Mm-hmm. And Giles says, hey, dreams aren't prophecies. You dreamt the master would rise. You stopped that from happening.
Right.
This line did make me laugh. Well, Xander says, yeah, and you ground his bones for your bread. And Buffy says, that's true, except for the bread part. But
that would have been funny.
She gets up and leaves, and Xander again, he's like, that's not a perky birthday puppy.
I'm sick. I need help.
We know.
Fuck. And they basically assume the party's off, because she's upset. He's like, oh man, I can do the surprise party. And Willow says, I bought little hats and everything.
Giles basically says, no, we're going to have this party.
We're going to have this goddamn party.
Because she only turned 17 once.
He's so sweet.
And that it's likely that she and Angel are going to be in danger, again. Yeah. And, he's like, there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
If there's anything that I've learned from living on the Hellmouth, it's
there's no time to relax.
There's no time to relax.
Yeah.
So let's just relax.
Let's just do it. There's not like a good time to relax.
There's never a good time. So he's like, let's just do it. She only turned 17 once. And I think that was great. Again, he's just great Giles this
Peak
episode.
Dad.
Would have
Giles.
loved to have played this character for these 2 episodes.
Yeah. I do like that he says, he's like, but I won't be wearing a little hat. So
we'll see about that.
We forgot to mention that Giles tells Buffy to meet him back here at 7 and they can research. Buffy's coming back to the library. It's dark. Mm-hmm. Jenny Calendar, who's being so weird.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Buffy, Giles had to go home for a book. He told me to tell you to meet him somewhere else. If Buffy should have immediately been like, are you possessed by a demon again? What's happening?
Uncle Enos is probably down the hall like.
It's like, God,
Keep
you're
it together,
blowing
kid.
it.
Keep
You're,
it together.
Yana, you're blowing it. I mean, this is my one quibble with this episode and Jenny's actions. They're trying to fake us out because what she's really doing is getting Buffy to the party.
I fell for it.
And maybe Robia Lamort, who plays Jenny, is trying to show that Jenny is conflicted. Maybe she's like, maybe I should use this opportunity to get her away.
Could have.
Or kill her. I don't know. It just was weird. And, you know, she's like, hey, I'll drive you. Let's get in my car. And she's just looking ominous. They get in the car and Buffy's like, are we going to the Bronze?
No. Giles just gave me this address. I'll find it here in just a minute.
It's so weird. And then Buffy sees, she's like, hey, what's going on? That looks weird.
There's some vamps in the alley.
There's some vamps. They've got a big truck. They're unloading something.
They're always doing something.
Where do they get these trucks? And Dalton is holding a package and Buffy gets out and she's like, every time I see you, you're stealing something. You should really see somebody about these klepto tendencies. And
pretty good.
Fighty kick.
Fighty kick in the alley.
Yeah, but important to note, Dalton gets away with the package because a vampire comes out of the truck and distracts Buffy. And she's fighting them. We cut to the Bronze and Angel and everybody's like lying in wait.
Yeah, there's a surprise party at the Bronze for Buffy.
Did they rent the place out?
It looks like they have
no
the whole
one's
place.
there.
There's no one there. There's not even a band. So we're just going to stand around and snap carrots and
so awkward.
Eat cake. Drink punch around one another.
Surprise.
Hey, we don't see each other every day.
Yeah. And so, but it is so sweet. Buffy's fighting and then she's fighting one vamp and they crash through the window at the Bronze.
I love that she crashes her own surprise party.
But I don't understand. Everybody slow pokes their way over. They're not like, whoa. They just look and they go, and Buffy dispatches of the vamp. She stakes it.
She dusts them.
And God bless Cordelia. She pops up behind the cake. Surprise!
Surprise! Surprise!
And Oz says, that pretty much sums it up. Yep. And Buffy's like,
so we have,
oh my God,
Giles, Ginny, Buffy, Angel, Willow, Cordelia, Xander, Oz.
That's it. And that's all. Why wasn't Joyce invited to this? Oh, I guess because of the supernatural of it all.
And the art. You know, she's got her gallery and taxes to do. Now that she's not doing Ted.
She's a single mom because her boyfriend was a robot.
Yeah.
Her daughter
she gets
killed
to reprise her role. We have to do these. She's a survivor. So good.
Buffy's really cute, sweet. She's like, did you guys plan me a surprise party? And Giles is like, yeah. And he like blows a little party favor. And Oz is like, hey, did anybody just see that guy turn to dust?
I lost it. This is
so funny.
So many great one-liners in this episode.
Yeah.
And the next episode, and this was one of them for me.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sort of. Xander says, yep, vampires are real.
Yeah.
A lot of them live in Sunnydale. Willow fill you in.
Yeah.
Willow says, I know it's hard to accept at first. Oz says, actually, it explains a lot.
Because Oz is a reasonable human being.
Okay. He's just going with it.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
And then Cordelia is a fucking slay with this red dress and her hair. She's got the little twisties. Like, I'll have the image in the video. She looks like right here. Beautiful. No notes. Cordelia Chase all day. So Jenny has gone to pick up the package that we thought Dalton got away with, but he didn't get away with because he dropped. So funny. And she puts it down and they like, pry it open. And it's a fucking arm that reaches up and starts choking Buffy. It's very scary.
It's an arm and like a, what do they call it? Like an arm, like a
gauntlet.
Yeah,
it's like an arm.
Like a knight would wear a coat of
like
suit of armor.
Armor, yeah.
Cut and rearrange.
Do you think this fell out of Norman Fister's car?
Yeah, it's not actually the demon arm. That's Fister's delivery.
The Fist doesn't remember.
The lady down the street
ordered.
She placed the order.
She's like, "Where's my goddamn
fist arrival? Where's my fist?"
He promised me it'd be a week. It's been 3. Okay. So
something about that guy bugged me.
he gave me the creeps. Okay. So this is really just a great acting choice where I noticed that Cordelia grabs onto Xander. Oz steps in front of Willow, like when the arm reaches up and starts choking.
Nice.
Yeah. And they get the arm off of her, and Xander, of course, is quipping. So that's the answer to the question. What do you get the Slayer who has everything? That was a very 90s thing to say.
Yeah.
But
When I first watched it, my note was the old demon arm in a box trick.
I had
every time.
Angel's like, oh shit. He kind of knows what's up. He's like, this can't be real. And they're like, what? What do you know?
What?
So it's a legend from before my time about a demon that separates the righteous from the wicked. He burns them and they call him the judge. He can't be killed. Giles says, well, an army finally got to him, dismembered him and scattered the pieces. And they're like, okay.
To the far reaches of the world.
Yes. And Angel says Drusilla is bringing the parts together to bring forth Armageddon.
Yeah. So he says, well, we got to get this out of town.
Oh, and Jennifer Calendar chirps right up.
Angel, you have to do it. You're the only one who can protect this thing.
Yeah. Take it and guard it.
Yeah.
Buffy's not having it.
She's not. She's like, well, Buffy says, well, what about me? She said, well, you can't just skip town for a few months.
She says, months? Yeah. And she says, but it's my birthday.
Angel says, well, she's right. I got to get this to the most remote regions possible.
He can't fly, though.
No, he says, I'll have to catch a cargo ship to Asia, maybe trek to Nepal. Buffy's like, they have these newfangled flying machines. They're really much safer than they used to be.
Yeah.
But he says he can't fly because there's no sure way to guard against daylight.
Huh. And they're having...
Sounds like old Angel's trying to get out of town.
Yeah. And
he's not.
He and Buffy are kind of having a moment. They're really close. And all of a sudden you see Jenny Calendar like this.
Yeah, she comes. She's like, I'll drive you to the docks.
Sunnydale has docks.
Noted on the geolocation list.
One Starbucks town has
with 43 churches, an international airport, train station,
bus terminal,
and docks.
Huh. Right. Yeah. So we go to the lair, and Drusilla is confronting Dalton. She is not happy because he has lost the arm. Mm-hmm. And she takes his glasses off and stomps on them. Poor Dalton. Dalton didn't even do anything. I mean, he lost. Yeah, he did do something, but I like Dalton.
Dalton does a hell of a lot more than those two do.
Well, and
doesn't do a whole lot of killing, but he does a whole lot of running around. He's a gopher.
But he's like, he figured out how to save Drusilla, like how to get her back to full health.
You think that she'd be thankful for that?
Well, Drusilla's getting ready to pluck his eyeballs out, and Spike says, whoa. He's a wanker, but he's the only one with half a brain. And then you pointed this out when we were watching, and I have never thought about this. You're like, why does a vampire need glasses? Like, wouldn't they?
A question along the lines of why does a vampire need a wheelchair?
Here's the thing.
I just need some questions about.
Do you think Dalton likes the style? Maybe he doesn't need him. Maybe he's like a hipster.
When you're turned vamp, do you keep the same vision that you've had? Will I have to wear glasses the rest for eternity? What if glasses become a thing, where they disappear? There are no glasses anymore.
I feel like the answer is no, and I feel like Dalton wears the glasses because he likes to.
It's period.
Especially these vampires, they become almost cat-like. Mm-hmm. So they would need glasses.
You think that their eyes would, their vision would change.
Right. Sorry. I guess Dalton, style. Go Dalton, live your life.
If you have answers, please leave us a comment.
Please leave us a comment. So, again, Drusilla's nails, they just look so great. Yeah. And so Drusilla spares Dalton, but Spike basically says, hey, if you don't find it.
Yeah, Dalton begs for his life. He says, I'll find it.
Yeah. And Spike's like, if you don't, she's going to kill you and take your eyeballs. And Drusilla's like, hurry back. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to the docks. Here we go.
We're at the Sunnydale docks.
What kind of boat is this?
This is a cargo.
Oh, that's right.
Cargo ship.
Cargo ship.
And Angel and Buffy appear on the docks. And he's got, the crate with the arm in it.
Yeah. Getting
sets
ready.
down, and of course the mood lighting. I mean, it's the docks. It's nighttime. There's dock lighting.
It's crazy.
You can hear the water kind of smashing up against the piers, and they have a little moment.
So Sunnydale is on the ocean, or it's on some kind of river.
I mean, it's got to be on. It's a major port city somewhere along the coastline.
There's not a lot of town here, as Cordelia Chase said. Huh?
More than you think.
So Buffy's really sad. She's crying. She's like, I don't want you to go. Yeah. And, they talk about everything's going to be fine. And she's like, you can't know that. And he's like, you're right. We can't know if we'll be fine.
Good lesson.
And he's like, I want to give you something. And he's going to give it to her for his birthday gift. It's a Clawder ring.
I've given it to all my girlfriends. I mean, I picked it out just for you.
Pluck this off the dead body of a girl. I mean, I'm sorry. He says, among my people, it is exchanged as a sign of devotion. I don't know why that irks me. I mean, we learn later Angel's Irish. Mm-hmm. He was born Liam.
At the top of the morning.
And yeah. He was turned when he was 23. I don't know if that's how old he was. But I don't know why the way he says my people. I'm like,
all of
Irish.
A sudden, you've
got people.
Right.
And I don't remember what's the hands are friendship. The heart is, well,
Yeah. What the heart is.
And if you're in a relationship, you have the heart facing you.
I think so.
Right.
And if you're open to one, it's facing away. It's basically a promise ring.
Yeah. It's a promise ring.
Yeah.
And then they're holding hands and Buffy kisses his ring. And I'm like, girl, there's something very sensual about that.
Oh, yeah.
And she says, I don't want to do this. He says, me either. She says, so don't go. But before we can get any further, we've got a vamp attack.
And fighty, kick.
Here we go. Or I guess he goes, Buffy, and then, wah! Like the vampires come out.
Basically, they get the, who is it? Dalton gets the drop on them.
Yes. Well, Dalton, he gets the box. There's the goon vamps who are fighting.
Yeah. But Dalton picks up the box.
Yeah.
Starts running with it. Buffy's like, Angel, the box.
Angel's
busy fighting vampires like she is, but he's able to
tackle Dalton.
Dalton drops the box. And as Buffy's trying to get to it, she gets thrown into the water.
Yeah, and then
Angel drops everything because Buffy's more important than the box, and he jumps in after her.
Yep, and the vampires scoop the box up, and
Dalton skedaddles with the box.
Skedaddle. They go to the library, and Giles is worried. They haven't checked in. They're talking about how they're worried about Buffy and Angel. Mm-hmm. And Willow says maybe she needs a minute to pull herself together. It's her birthday. She's going to be sad that Angel's leaving. And Xander says, it's sad, granted, but let's look at the upside for a moment. I mean, what kind of future could she have really had with him? Working 2 jobs, Denny's waitress by day, Slayer by night. Angel's always in front of the tube with a big old blood belly, and he's dreaming of the glory days when Buffy still thought the whole creature of the night routine was a big turn on.
How dare he?
He needs industrial strength therapy.
I hope all of them, I wished that all of them would have just turned and looked at him and been like, buddy.
I wish, but Willow tells him, you've thought way too much about this. And he says, that's just the beginning. You want to hear the part where I fly into town in my private jet and take Buffy out for prime rib? Shut the fuck up.
Just shut up.
Fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Buffy comes in new clothes that she has stashed at school because they got all wet at the docks. She's wearing a new outfit. Mm-hmm. And they're like, where's Angel? And she says, oh, Jenny took Angel to his apartment to change. Buffy's wearing these giraffe pants and like a tan, like a beige top with a little shrug thing over it, which looks great. The giraffe pants, I can't do it.
I'm okay with it.
And, she's like, hey, what'd you guys learn? Giles says, hey, the judge's touch can burn the humanity out of you, and no weapon forged can kill him. It's like, we got more research to do because we got to figure out how to stop him.
Right.
They've got the arm. We got to do this. And this was cute because we've all done this as teenagers, or I know I did. Buffy, Willow, and Xander are like, all right, round robin.
Yeah.
And Giles is like, what do you mean? Like, oh, this is, what we do. We call each other's parents, say we're staying the night over here.
Right.
And that leaves us free for all night slayage. And Willow says, and all night keggers. What? Xander's the only one that gets to make dumb jokes.
Yeah, I'd rather hear her kegger jokes than have to listen to his fucking dumb shit.
Preach. So yeah, Xander, what is Xander? He calls his mom. He's like, Mom, It's Xander.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Mom. It's Sandy. I'm just wondering what his mom on the other side.
I mean,
is she a Denny's waitress? Is his dad sitting at home with a beer belly?
No, I think
he was projecting.
Yes, he was, and we've gotten those little nuggets of Xander's home life, and I think this is another one. So
shout out to Denny's. We actually
love a Denny's.
Good breakfast.
Was it Grand Slam breakfast?
Mm-hmm. So Giles has a sleigh outfit. His suit, jacket's off, but and the jacket is nice when he puts it on. But the shirt, but mostly like his watch. He's got a nice little watch on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it looks good.
Looks great. Angel's shown up now. They see Buffy in Giles' office. She puts her head down. She's like falling asleep, and Giles is like, "Oh, she must have needed rest." And Angel says, "Yeah, she's been tossing and turning." And everyone's like,
mm-hmm. He's like, "Well, that's what she told me because of the dreams, because of the nightmares."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of, she's having one right now.
Yeah, he almost let the cat out of the bag.
Well, the cat hasn't. Nobody's been in anybody's bag yet. That's on the way. It's gonna be some cats, and
they've been smooching.
That's true. Well, and Buffy's having a dream where she's in, I guess, the lair with all the candles and fake plants, and we see.
And they did snuggle once, didn't they? Snuggle in his bed once. Haven't they already done that?
He stayed at her place.
I think so.
I can't remember, but they have not had sex yet.
No.
And she's wearing this white, like Giovanni prom dress, and Buffy's walking around the lair. And if you look closely in the back, you see Jenny Calendar walking. But then Drusilla shows up. She has a knife to Angel, and she tells Buffy, now, hands off my presents.
Mm-hmm.
And we, that's
kind of where it ends.
It's kind of where it ends. And we go to the lair, and Drusilla is
having a party.
They have Dalton serving blood and like from a punch bowl. Drusilla's wearing this red dress.
They're celebrating.
And she comes downstairs and she's like, and Spike's just sitting in the wheelchair looking kind of miserable, honestly.
Yeah, no, he's miserable. Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, it's time. Like they assemble the Tetris boxes.
They do. They put all these boxes together.
Yeah.
And the last piece, I guess, was the one that Dalton was bringing from the docks.
Mm-hmm. The international docks.
We're trying to get from the docks, yeah. And they assemble them, and out comes this demon.
The judge. Brian.
The judge.
There's something familiar about this guy. What is it?
I can't put my finger on it. It's something sounds familiar for sure.
Something sounds familiar. It's Brian Thompson, guys.
Brian, as you may know, played Luke in season 1.
The founder of the Sunnydale Black Box Theater Vampire Troupe. Co-founder, excuse me.
The master.
So sorry. You're right. Yes, they got this actor to come back, Brian Thompson, to play the judge.
If it weren't for Brian, we wouldn't have a vampire masterpiece theater.
We wouldn't. You know
Black
what?
Box Theater.
Brian, if you're listening, would love to have you on to talk about your time on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We'd love to have you read a vampire Black Box Theater with us.
That would be fun. Amazing. So the judge is here. He's like this blue demon wearing armor. Right. He looks at Spike and Drusilla and says, you two stink of humanity.
Yeah.
You share affection and jealousy.
Yeah. And they
so good. And I like this. This is a subtle, I mean, it's not subtle, but it's a way to really show that what Spike and Drusilla have, this attachment to each other is not,
it's character building.
It's not necessarily typical of vampires. Right. So it's great. And Drusilla is like, would you like a party favor? And then our boy.
Take our gopher, who does all of our work for us and who's been very loyal.
And very helpful.
And has been the only one who's survived all of these other raids against the Slayer.
It's so sad.
Yeah. And she offers up Dalton as a party favor for the demon, the judge.
Yeah. And he looks at him, he says, this one is full of feeling. He reads. I was like, same. It describes me. It's me. Hi.
Need the t-shirt.
And then the judge just he puts his hand on him and burns him. And I'm like, Dalton, may your memory be a blessing. He was just an accountant.
R.I.P. Dalton.
A professor. He was
just trying to do right by your vampire peers.
He was like the most reluctant vampire. Whoever turned Dalton, they weren't thinking.
Or they just needed their taxes done.
What if he was Joyce's accountant? And that's why she's doing the taxes herself. Because she's like, my accountant just disappeared.
Dalton just disappeared one day.
And then Drusilla's like, do it again. Do it again.
She does.
She's having a good time. So we go to the library and Buffy's up. She's like, okay, we're not sitting here anymore. Angel and I are going to go to the lairs. We're going to do recon. And Giles says, you can't go off all half-cocked. And then Buffy pretty much lays out the plan. And Giles says, well, actually, that's a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they go. They just waltz into the upper part of the lair, the catwalk, I guess. And they're looking around. The judge, everybody's mingling. The judge is there. And then he looks up. Yeah. He sees Buffy and Angel. And Angel says, we got to get out of here.
And guess what? They cannot.
They cannot.
It's a trap.
The minions have accosted them.
They have.
Yeah.
And they get taken before the judge and Spike and Drusilla.
Yeah.
And Angel says, hey, leave her alone.
Spike says, yeah, that'll work. Next time say pretty please.
Yeah. That's going to work.
And they basically say, look, that's not how this works. You're both going to get, it's not one or the other. It's both.
Right.
And then Drusilla basically says, yeah, but she's going to go first. But otherwise, how would you get to see the Slayer die? And Spike and Drew are hot here. He's in the chair. She's kind of got her arms draped around him. He puts his hand on her stomach, and they're just great. And Buffy, as the judge gets closer, kicks the judge. Angel gets free in the kerfuffle.
Yeah, and then there's a sewer run.
After he pulls down a chain that's got a TV and light fixtures. Sure. Crashes. They go into the opening of the sewer and some vamps go after them.
It's a mad dash.
Buffy and Angel escape through a grate, and it's raining. God, I hate when that happens.
It's raining. They're going through this traumatic experience.
Yeah.
They're trying to get away from the world's most powerful demon and a local vamp gang. So guess where they go?
They gotta go to Angels. They gotta lay low.
They gotta lay low at the known address of the only vampire associate and friend of the Slayer.
All day, it would take one visit to Willie the Snitch, and they would know.
They wouldn't. I mean, Willie's smart enough to know. Hey, where should we look for him? Have you tried Angel's Place?
Have you tried his bachelor apartment?
Have you tried the bachelor pad?
And they go inside, and they're of course soaking wet.
The vampular pad.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then the next 11 minutes is a Calvin Klein commercial.
He goes, "You're shaking like a leaf." He's like,
She's quivering.
That just makes me think of all the romance novels where they refer to men as like having a quivering member.
Whoa.
Yeah, the bodice rippers. That is like a phrase used often.
I thought the member brought out the quiver.
It can, but it's usually described as turgid or quivering.
Turgid? I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that an SAT word?
Well, it's in those romance novels. I'll tell you what. Angel's he says, put some of my clothes on, get under the covers. He turns his back. Buffy's taking off her shrug, her overshirt, whatever it's called. And she's like, she's got a little cut. And Angel says, let me see.
Yeah, a little cut for sure.
Oof. And basically, while he's checking the cutout,
there's no cut.
There's like a tiny one. He says it's already closed up. And she leans into him.
It's already healed.
And she's like, we can't be sure of anything. And like, here we go. He says, I love you. And he can't stop. And
will you check my cut on the shoulder?
Works every time. And he tells her, they're really close. There's lots of heavy breathing.
Yeah.
And he tells her, I love you. And he can't stop. And she says, I love you too. I can't stop either. And then
they smooch.
And he says, maybe we shouldn't. And she says, don't. And fade to white. They kiss and we fade to white. And then we come back. She's asleep.
Yes.
In bed next to him. He wakes up shirtless. Throws the covers. And he's like clutching his chest. He's breathing. He has run outside. Now he's fully dressed.
Hey, we've all had anxiety attacks.
Angel's running with his shirt unbuttoned. Screaming, but Buffy, I love you. Okay, and he does scream. He says, Buffy!
He's literally losing his soul. At
He
this
is.
moment is what we find out.
Then we just get to be continued.
Dun,
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 dun.
dun.
So Buffy and Angel have had sex.
I have officially.
Officially. It's happened.
Done. We immediately go into the next episode. So it's a cold open, and we're straight into Spike and Drusilla and the judge.
Mm-hmm.
What I said was role playing Professor X, Rogue, and Magneto, because that's kind of what they're all looking like in this scene. But it's not, because Spike would not be Professor X. He would be Magneto, because they can't ever kill him. He keeps getting away.
He is the Magneto of Buffy.
That's
he
right.
is.
That's what you always say.
And Spike is not happy. Well, Spike is not happy that Angel and Buffy are alive. He tells Drusilla, we should leave.
Yeah.
This is not good. And she's like, no, Spike, just wait for the judge. Like, basically, we're going to wait it out. And the judge is over there, like, on his knees, just meditating. And he's like, oi,
he's like,
what?
Is this the plan?
Yeah, he's like, what's Big Blue up to anyway?
Yeah.
He says he's preparing. He's got to power up by getting everybody's humanity. And then Drusilla starts moaning. She's like, oh, Angel. And she goes on the ground. Yeah, I know. And Spike's like, what's wrong? Do you see something? What's happening? And she just she's on the ground, still kind of moaning, but she smiles.
This must be, this is straight in from the last episode.
So Buffy, we go to Angel's, and Buffy wakes up and she realizes he's not there.
No Angel in her bed.
Nope.
Ain't that just like a man?
Listen, this...
Love you and leave him.
Yeah. And this is the beginning of trauma for Buffy. And if I'm not promising a spoiler section today, folks, if we have time, we'll do it. This is the beginning of some trauma for Buff.
So many spoilers with these two episodes.
I know. And there's great acoustics in Angel's apartment. You can hear the rain. It's funny because it's a basement. Mm-hmm. You can really hear the rain coming through. And we cut to Angel, and he's in the alley still, moaning and moving around. And he knows something's happening. He gets kind of on his knees, and he says, oh no. Mm-hmm. Then we see a woman step out of kind of a door frame. She's smoking a cigarette.
She is a sex worker.
I didn't realize this. You said she's credited as...
She's credited
as a
hooker,
which we would say sex worker. But yeah, and she goes to check on Angel. She's like, you okay? Mm-hmm. Do you need me to call 911? And he gets up and he says, no. The pain is gone.
And he vamps her.
He vamps out, bites her.
Necks her.
I hate this, though, because after he bites her.
She was smoking a cigarette, by the way.
He blows out the smoke that came from her throat. It's gross. So dumb. And he says, I feel just fine. Credits. So we know something's up with Angel. He's not right.
No, he's in vamp phase.
This isn't good.
Not good.
And we go to Buffy's house. She's wearing the giraffe pants. The outfit she was wearing when she, changed at Angel's, or she changed at school. And
she's coming in the door.
She's going up the stairs, and Joyce is like, hey, good morning.
How was Willow's?
She's like, fine. What? Yeah, Buffy's you can tell Buffy's tense, and
she's tense.
She doesn't know where Angel is.
Night,
yeah.
And she's being confronted by mom. The next morning after losing her.
Well, after she has sex for the first time and
with him,
we can assume it's her first time having sex. And so that's a huge deal. Mm-hmm. I firmly believe, we don't have to get in that conversation, that virginity is a construct, but it is still, I think, for anyone, that first intimate experience is a huge deal. Yeah.
You can't
and then you wake up and he's gone. That's a lot.
This was a lot for her. And I was thinking about this while we were breaking for lunch today. And I was thinking, you can't fault her for her reactions and what you're going to see come forward after this, because not only was this someone who you love, mm-hmm. it is someone that you have been building trust mm-hmm. up until this point, and then you share that love with that individual.
Yeah.
And it is an experience that you walk away feeling fulfilled. I think that this was
very special for her.
Very special for her. And then to wake up and that person be gone, and it's like, well, maybe it's like the movies and they went out and got muffins and coffee and they're going to bring it back and smooch. And
he never comes back.
But it's not. He's kind of disappeared without leaving her any sort of indication of where he's gone. And we know, but she doesn't know.
And there's an added layer of fear
that he's gone.
Right. And on her end,
That's
there's
traumatic.
It is. And there's the added layer of fear of like, what if he's been killed because they've been hunted?
She doesn't have any answers.
She has no answers. And, we cut to the library. And
so Xander comes in and he immediately, my note from the first time that I watched this last year was Xander is a dick. And I'm going to read the script because it's really, no, actually, I don't even want to read it. But he comes in basically raging about people who are overweight and also houseless.
Yeah. It's
because he had to go wait at the bus station for Angel and Buffy. He just he stereotypes a lot of people, and it's not very nice.
It's not very nice. It's just really uncomfortable. And hey, I mean, it's not the fault of Nicholas Brendan. There's a lot of things that Nicholas Brendan is, but this is writing. This was Joss Whedon making choices, and it's really gross.
He's fully credited as being the writer for this episode and the director.
Yeah, and so after his little diatribe, he asks, "Where's Buffy?" And Willow tells him, she's never checked in.
Yeah, they all look a little disheveled. Giles totally.
No one slept.
It is. He's, got the tie off already, and his hair's a little messy.
Yeah, and
I love disheveled Giles.
I do too. And they basically, Buffy. They state Buffy has never checked in. Angel hasn't, and Xander kind of makes the comment like, "Hey, do we think this judge guy might be assembled? If so, then Buffy might be in danger. Like, we need to go." And Cordelia, I do love this line. She's like, "And do what besides be afraid and die?" But again, Xander has to be
into it.
Yeah, he does the thing. He says, "Nobody's asking you to go, Cordy. If the vampires need grooming tips, we'll give you a call."
Right. He's just being a dick.
But
this is how he gets under pressure.
Yeah. And Giles says, "Hey, if Buffy and Angel are harmed, we definitely don't stand a chance." And Xander, I get where he's coming from right here. He's like, "Hey, well, those of us born with feelings are going to do something about this."
Yeah,
it's it's not fair, but I can understand his like, "Hey, this is our friend. Yeah. This is someone who has saved us countless times. He's
trying to rally the troops.
He is. And it's part of his character. He did this with Jesse in season 1.
Yeah. Willow comes to his defense and says, yeah, he's right. We ought to at least go look for Buffy.
Yeah.
And see if we can find her. And then immediately Buffy walks through the doors and I said, "Oh, Buffy, we were just coming to find you."
Yeah.
And Xander makes a quip, or Willow, one of them says, "Well, at least
some of us were." I think it's Xander.
Like,
Come on, Xander.
Let it go.
And she does confirm the judge has been assembled. And
confirmed.
She, just by kicking him, she got hot, like she had a fever. Was it the kick, Buff?
Jenny says, I'll go on the net.
I'll go on the net.
Which is what a techno-pagan should do.
She should. And then Buffy and Willow are talking.
Or is she? Dun, dun. I think she.
And she's like, "Oh, Angel will show up." And Buffy's like, "I hope so. I need to talk to him." Like, Buffy's getting distraught. And we see Jenny lurking. She's just friendly neighborhood lurker.
Just listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know she's playing on our own team now. They don't know, but we do.
We do. And we go to the lair, and Drusilla's laying on a slab. And this scene is this is where we get Angel as Angelus.
Yeah.
And before we get into it, Ryan.
Yeah.
How do you feel? You ready? You ready for some more Black Box Theater? In the presence of Brian Thompson?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
No, I don't.
Today's second edition of Vampire Black Box Theater, the roles of Angel and the Judge. I'm sorry, of Angel and Drusilla will be played by Ryan something. And the roles of Spike and the Judge will be played by me, Katz. Scene. As soon as it gets dark, I want you patrolling the street, plus 2 men on the door and down the tunnels at all times. Is that clear? I don't want any more surprises. Spike wheels to Drew, who lies face up on the table. Are we feeling better then?
I'm naming all the stars.
Can't see the stars, love. That's the ceiling. Also, it's day.
I can see them. I've named them all the same name, and there's terrible confusion. I fear there may be a duel.
Recovered then, have we? Did you see any further? Do you know what happens to Angel?
Well, He moves to New York and tries to fulfill his Broadway dream. It's tough, sledding, but one day he works in the chorus when the big star twists her ankle. He steps forward. Still having trouble guarding your perimeter, brother? Your boys downstairs are going to wake up. I'm sorry, I can't. God damn, I can't. Okay. Still having trouble guarding your perimeter, brother? Your boys downstairs are going to wake up sore.
You don't give up, do you?
Wink, wink, nod, nod. As long as there's injustice in this world, as long as scum like you are walking or, well, rolling the streets, I'll be around. Look over your shoulder. I'll be there.
Yeah, Angel, look over your shoulder. Yeah, Angel does to see the judge standing right behind him. Angel's eyes widen in fear. The judge reaches out and puts his hand to Angel's chest. Angel begins to shake. Hurts, doesn't it?
Well, it kind of itches a little.
Don't just stand there, burn him.
Gee, maybe it's broken.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, my.
I cannot burn this one. He is clean. Clean? You mean he's...
There is no... sorry.
There is no humanity in him.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Angel. Yeah, baby. I'm back.
Motherfucking see!
Dude. That's great.
Wow.
Well done,
Wow.
Jennifer Katz.
Well done, Ryan something.
You really brought justice to the judge. You really did.
I really worked on that. I needed to get into character, method acting. I shadowed a local judge for weeks just to really get the part.
Brought out his feminine side. It was
Thank you.
Behold.
Wow, thank you.
I had never thought that maybe that character was non-binary, but after hearing that,
Love our non-binary
we
folks.
do.
So Angel's back.
And, I got to say, I think Spike seems a little excited.
Drew's definitely excited.
Drew's super
She's
pumped.
beside herself.
Yeah, the throuple's back.
And, I put on my notes, they are a full ass throuple.
They are.
And Angel, he says he's smoking. First of all, he lights a cigarette.
Yeah.
And Spike's like, well. And he's like, now that you're back, that's 4 against whoever.
Spike's looking at it totally from a number standpoint at the moment. And Drew's more looking at it as
she's also looking at it from a number standpoint.
That's what Angel and Spike are gonna do.
Yeah. Well, Spike can't reach yet. Maybe another shot. Sorry. Okay, gotta go. And, they're saying we'll feed and we'll play, and Angel's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Y'all need to lay low tonight. I'm gonna draw Buffy out. I want the Slayer.
He's like, give me 24 hours.
Yeah. And Spike says, you've got a yen to hurt this girl, don't you? Which I haven't heard someone say you got a yen in a long time. Just made me laugh. And but Angel's bad, babe. He's not. This isn't good.
Yeah.
We go to the library and Willow's on the phone talking to Buffy. And she's like, no, still haven't heard from him. I'm sure he's okay. And
I love a good telephone scene.
I do too. And does she say something while she's on the phone about Willie? Like, someone talked to Willie the snitch. He hasn't seen him. And then Xander goes, say hi from me.
Yeah, say hi from me.
Stupid.
And so she finishes the conversation. She hangs up the phone and she just immediately looks at him, say hi from me.
So dumb.
It's just so dumb, which it is. And Giles is like, what do we know?
Yeah. What do we know?
What do we know? Buffy's been looking for Angel all over town.
Can't find him.
She's been to Willie the Snitch's twice. She's beat him up twice, is what
That's
Willow
right.
said.
She's beat him up twice.
She's beat Willie the Snitch up twice. Poor Willie's just trying to clean his bar, get ready to.
He's trying to clean his chucks from the sewers. And Cordelia is helping. She's full-fledged member of the Scoobies.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the stacks. And Xander goes to talk to her. He's like, you find anything about the judge?
She's wearing a fire fit too.
It's the plaid skirt. Is it like a buttery yellow shirt with the sweater tied?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. And Xander apologizes for snapping at her. And she's like, well, it's not anything new.
It's not a genuine apology, but
No.
yes, he does apologize.
And she says, like, yeah, I mean, you were going to go run off for your precious, or your beloved Buffy. I can't remember what she says.
Yeah.
He's like, well, can we just,
she says, but you wouldn't do that for me.
Yeah. Or he said, I would die because of you.
Right. And then she's like,
yeah.
Whatever.
And then he says, can we just skip to the part where we kiss and make up? She said, I don't want to make up, but the other part I can do.
Yeah, where we're not mad at each other and we make out. She's like, well,
that's
not going to happen, but we can't make out.
Xander sucks.
And again, it's not a genuine apology.
Nope.
He's just wanting to make out again.
Okay, so they
start smooching, and as the camera pans out and they pull apart, Willow is standing in the hallway and she sees them.
And she just looks sad and shocked and mad.
She's devastated.
And Xander and Cordelia pull apart, and Xander says, Willow, we were just, and she runs. She takes off, and Xander follows her into the hallway. And Xander says, Willow, come on. And she says, I knew it. Well, not knew it in the sense of having the slightest idea, but I knew there was something I didn't know. You were fighting way too much. It's not natural. And she's giving him the business. You know, she's like, hey, you were the president or the treasurer of the We Hate Cordelia Club.
Right. And now here you are making out with her. And he's like, I don't really understand like why you're so upset about all of this. And she says, you really don't get it. You'd rather be with someone you hate than be with me.
Yeah.
And it's just heart-wrenching because, you know, I think she's really struggled with him over the years, and this is, I guess, kind of it for her. I think we felt like maybe she had moved on, but there was still kind of that lingering ember,
what if,
that ember for him. And I think her seeing this and really more truthfully, him having kept it from her, I think is what hurts her feelings.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think you're spot on. She's making the moves to move on.
Yeah.
And she said in that one episode, she's like, I'm
sure.
You know, was it Inca Mummy Girl, where she's basically choosing to move on?
She is.
But I think this is like slapping her face of.
This is, and hey, they're also teenagers, so there's a whole lot of learning to regulate your emotions surrounding these things.
Yeah.
And her initial response, because it was always Xander in her eyes for the longest time, is to react the way that she's reacting. I think it's a perfectly normal reaction.
Oh, I do too. I don't fault this at all, even though she's been, you know, moving towards something with Oz. Right. Xander's been her friend since they were 5. Right. She's had a crush on him for a long time.
Right.
It's a very complex.
It's complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a deep friendship. And, you know, there's feelings involved.
Yep. So, well, here we go. This scene is tough. So we cut to Buffy walking up to her front door.
Lots of relationships in flux right now.
She walks up to her front door, but before she goes in, turns around, cut to Angel's. She's letting herself in. Yeah. She either has a key or it's unlocked. We don't know.
So instead of going home, she goes to Angel's apartment.
She notices the bed has now been made.
Yeah, and there's something on the bed. Looks like maybe a shirt's tossed on it.
Something. We see Angel again, shirtless.
He's dressing in the kitchen behind her.
Full leather pants.
Leather.
Angel's bad now. When you're bad, you got to wear leather. It's in the Geneva Convention. Yeah. And she runs up. She's like, oh my God, Angel. Hugs and kisses him. And
he kisses her back.
He does it first. He's like, hey, you know, we think everything's okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, God, I was so worried. Where were you? And he's like, I took off. She's like, well, you didn't even say anything. You just left. And he says, yeah, like I really wanted to stick around after that.
Oof.
And she just looks devastated. Right. She's like, what do you? And he's like, hey, you've got a lot to learn about men, kiddo. Although I guess you proved that last night. Oof. And she's just, Sarah Michelle Gellar's face is just crumpling with each word. She's crushed. And he's like, yeah, you know, let's not make an issue about it. In fact, let's not talk about it at all. It happened. And God, this just gets me, you know, I don't understand. Was it me? Was I not good?
Yeah.
He says, no, you were great. Really thought you were a pro.
Oh my God.
Sucks. And she's like, how can you say this to me?
Yeah.
And
because he has no soul.
Nope. And he's like, what did you expect? Fireworks, bells ringing, a dulcet choir of pretty little birdies. Come on, Buffy. It's not like I've never been there before. Oh, and she like, I think does he try to touch her? And she's like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I should have known you wouldn't have been able to handle it.
Yeah. And then leaves.
Well, she says, Angel, I love you.
Yeah,
And
she's crying.
And he's like, love you too. Love you too.
Out
You know,
the door.
It's really.
Don't forget to lock up.
Yeah. So
yeah, he's
sad.
Really treating her like dirt.
I think he says too, I'll call you.
Right.
Oof.
It's heartbreaking for Buffy. You know, she's crushed in this moment.
She is. And
I mean, it's almost worse than having him just having disappeared.
Yeah. Because it's cruel. This is now cruel.
He's being cruel to her.
Yeah. And
it's a really tough scene. It's very heavy. This episode is very heavy. These 2 episodes are very deep.
Yeah.
There's so many relationships that are in flux right now, deep friendships and relationships that are just kind of very tumultuous. And there's more to come.
More to come.
We're not done yet.
No. So we cut to Uncle Ineos and Yana and Jenny Calendar. And he's like, hey, you know, what does he say? He's like, I guess they're in his apartment. We haven't seen this set before, or it's Jenny's. No, it's his, because later on they go to visit him and and you know, she's asking him like, hey, I need to know. He cuts her off and he goes on this thing about vengeance. It's an idea. It's a word. For us, I guess for their people, vengeance is a living thing. It moves through the generations. It commands, it kills.
Yeah, he's literally explaining to her in layman's terms in like a sentence what generational trauma is.
For sure.
And it's passing that down from generation to generation and following you, it haunting you. It's all consuming. And, you know, here's Jenny where she's like trying to break that cycle. She feels like, hey, you know, things are different. They're not like they were back then. You know, it looks like we found a workaround for Angel. So maybe if we just kind of like leave it, we can actually maximize his potential.
Right, And he says, no,
this is vengeance. And there's a difference for Uncle Ineos between justice, which is they are not seeking justice for what he did to the family. They're seeking vengeance, and vengeance means going all out, nonstop, as long as it takes. And Jenny's really struggling. She has a choice here.
She does.
Which path does she want to choose?
And she's almost begging him. She's like, hey, there are terrible things happening here that we can't control. You told me to watch Angel. Right. You told me to keep him from the Slayer. I've tried. And you know, she says he could help us. He could be our only chance to stop the judge. And Uncle Ineos says it's too late. And Jenny's like, what do you mean? And he says that, you know, Angel was meant to suffer, not to live as a human. One moment of true happiness, of contentment. One moment where his soul that we restored does not plague his thoughts, and that soul is taken from him. And Jenny's like, Jenny didn't know this part. She said, so wait, you're saying if he has one moment of perfect happiness, he becomes Angelus. He goes from Angel to Angelus. And Uncle Ineos is like, I hope to stop it, but I see now that it was arranged to be so. And Jenny's like, Buffy loves him. And Uncle Ineos is like, oh, she's going to have to kill him. Yeah. And Jenny's like, dude, this is insane. People are going to die. And he's just like, this is our way.
That's very toxic.
It is. And she says, you're a fool and we're all fools. And I'm like, yep.
Yes.
You sure are. Whew. And so we go to the school. We learn Willow has come back. She went home. She's come back to help.
And Xander's like, hey, I'm so glad that you came back. She just immediately starts with him. Let's get something straight.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. You have gross emotional problems.
Yeah. You just say that again, sister.
And things are not okay between us.
Right.
But what's happening right now is more important than that. And so she said, so where are we?
So where are we?
But man, does she ever tell him off? And she's needed to say that for a long time.
Yeah. I'm glad.
I know it hurts.
But it's beautifully written. I'll give Joss Whedon that.
Beautifully written, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I know. I'm not giving him credit for that line.
I know.
I think somebody else slipped that in there.
Because look in the mirror, my guy. So, and Xander starts saying, oh, I'm having a thought, because they're still in the same spot. We need an army to take him out. No weapon forged.
Well, where's an army when you need one?
Yeah. Xander's like having this thought. The lights go out. And then we see Angel in the school, but he's in shadow.
Right.
Yeah. He says, Xander, Willow. He's like, what's up with the lights? Well,
the lights are off because he's in band phase.
And he's like, I don't remember what he says, but
He's
Xander's
hey,
like,
I think I have a plan. I know how we can get it. Xander, will you go get the others?
that's it.
And he's like, yeah, I'm on it. He's like, and Willow, can you come closer?
And Xander, as he walks away, he stops. He's got a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And as he turns around, Jenny shows up with a cross and she's like, Willow, get away from him. And Angel, as Willow's like hesitating, Angel grabs her.
Yeah.
He's vamped out and he says, I've got a message for Buffy.
He's got a chokehold on her. So he's got a hold on her.
Yes,
and
he does.
then Xander comes back in.
Oh.
And he says, hey, you can't do that. And what's he saying? He says, oh, I do that.
Yeah. I love when David Boreanaz gets to do this stuff. He is so deliciously evil as Angelus, and he's scary.
Yeah, he is very scary.
Yeah, and it's just great.
He gets a little hokey. I think I do that.
I think I do that. Yeah, it's campy, but I love it.
It's campy, but he's super bad, and he's being very aggressive with Willow. And Jenny Calendar's like, hey, let's try to get you away. And all of a sudden you hear Buffy's voice.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I have a message for Buffy, right?
Yeah, and she says, why don't you tell me yourself?
Turns around and there's Buffy standing at the door, and she does not look too pleased.
No, and he's like, well, that would kind of ruin it, seeing as it's supposed to be found in the bodies of all your dead friends.
All your dead friends scattered around town. And she's like, that's a lot. She's having to process this person right now is not acting like themselves. She doesn't know what's happened.
No, and she's trying to reach him. She's like, Angel, I know you're still there. Remember who you are. And he's like, your boyfriend is dead.
Yeah.
Like
Xander sneaks up with the cross and is able to scare him off of Willow long enough for him to grab her. And then Buffy approaches Angel, and Angel basically gets in her face and kisses her.
Mm-hmm.
And then skedaddles out the door.
He tells her, things are about to get very interesting. And he shoves her into the wall and he leaves. And go to the library. Everyone's in shock. What are we going to do? And Giles says, I'm leaning towards blind panic, which great. And Buffy was saying, I should have known.
Yeah.
And Giles is like, if anyone should have known, it was you. And then I can't remember what Jenny says, but Willow looks back and she goes, hey, how did you know he turned bad? And Jenny's like, what? She's like, how did you know you were there? And she said, oh, I saw his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Willow's on to something.
Right.
Jeez.
And that was loud, sorry. And Giles says something set it off, like some event. And he's like, Buffy, and he's badgering her and she's crying. And she just gets up and Willow clocks it and he keeps talking. He's like, Buffy, Buffy. And she goes, Giles, shut up. And then she leaves and they're like, okay, Xander has a plan. And he's going to need Cordelia for it.
Yep.
And he's going to need her car. And Willow's like, well, I'll call Oz because he has a van.
Yeah.
And then he says, Cordelia, I'm going to need you to change into something trashy-er.
Yeah.
I'm sick. I need help.
Yeah, she's like, you're not going to fill me on the plan. You're just going to make me a part of it. And he's like, no, I'm not. And he said, but meet me at Willow's house in half an hour and wear something trashy. And it's like, bro, how much lower can you get in this episode?
I hate him.
You're insulting everyone. You treat the people who you care about with
your alleged friends and family.
Yeah, with disdain. I don't understand it. Why are you doing this?
I don't get it. And so go to the lair and it's Angel, Spike, and Drew. And Spike's like, so you didn't kill her?
Yeah.
And Drew's got Miss Edith holding. She's like, you want to hurt her just like you hurt me.
Angel says, no one knows me like you do, Drew.
And he tells them, like, hey, you don't get it. To kill this girl, you have to love her.
You have to love her. How much of a monster do you have to be that killing her isn't enough, but actually like killing her soul?
You're making her suffer.
Breaking her is how you do it. And it just tells you how wicked he is. He's living up to his reputation as a vampire.
He is. And go to Buffy's room. She's walking in just looking shell-shocked. And she looks at the Claire's cross necklace that Angel gave her in the first episode. She looks at
the Irish promise ring and she has a breakdown.
Crying.
Yeah.
Again, I have been a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
I've not been a vampire slayer.
No, but you've been heartbroken.
And there's nothing quite like the breakup with the first person you were sexually intimate with, because it's just such a it is such a monumental moment in your life.
For many people.
For some people, it's not. But for me, I was definitely I grew up in the time of like virginity was a big deal and it's this. And it was a big letdown. But I was connected to this person and I felt something for this person. And he broke up with me in a very over the phone when I was out of town in a very cruel way.
Right.
And it was devastating. And so watching this is just like they capture that because it doesn't have to be Angel turned into a vampire and threatened her friends and all that. It's just that it's you've been this vulnerable and open with somebody and then they've just been cruel and destroyed you. It's oof.
Or, sometimes they just, make they grow up. I mean, we're so young.
Yeah.
And everyone has their life ahead of them. And I know some folks that they're one and only person and stays their one and only person forever.
Same, yeah.
But, for me, and it sounds like for you, it was not. I remember the heartbreak. You get you're so emotionally invested in this person, and you're also a teenager, so there's lots of emotions.
So
and
your
feelings,
hormones are raging.
and then there's also a physical emotion for this person, and so you feel like you almost can't live without them because you crave that desire. You're trying to feel something.
It's intense.
It's intense, yeah. And I think everyone, I think a lot of people can relate to this.
I think they can, yeah.
Yeah.
And well done, Buffy. This is one of the reasons why I love this show and I go back to it so much.
Yeah.
Is that it's so evocative and so relatable. And
now what would have made it more relatable for me is if she had like a mixtape that he had made her and then like she puts it in and just like cries out to it because
I'm all cried out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the generation that had both mixtapes and mixed CDs made for them by their significant others.
I was just a mixed CD gal. Oh God.
No 8 tracks. I'm not that. And then playlist. Now we're on the playlist.
Ooh. So Buffy, she's having a moment. We see some flashbacks of their intimacy. She's
having another dream.
Yes, it's shadowy kisses, touching Angel's back. He's touching Buffy's lips with his finger.
It looks like a cologne commercial.
It does.
Angel eau de parfum.
Eau de brood.
Now at Dillard's.
It's eau de parfum brood.
Brood.
Okay. And we go kind of go from that to Buffy at a funeral.
Yeah. And
here we go.
Here she gets a premonition. She gets an insight.
Yes.
That's revealed to her.
We don't know whose funeral it is, but we see Angel.
We do.
What does he say? You have to look. Oh, let me pull it up. Because he, gives a little bit of a cryptic line.
Yeah.
It's broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
They're at some kind of funeral. Angel comes out and he says, "You have to know what to see." Mm-hmm. And then Buffy looks over and then there's a woman, lifts her veil. It's Jenny Calendar.
Right.
Buffy wakes up and you can see on her face, she's not here to fucking play.
Cut to school.
She is stalking
Buffy
through the hallway.
Is marching through the hallway into Jenny Calendar's classroom where Giles and Jenny are having a conversation at her desk.
There's kids in the class.
It's a classroom full of kids.
Yeah.
And she walks in, she grabs Jenny Calendar by the throat and she throws her on top of the desk.
And Giles is like, "Buffy!"
Giles is completely flabbergasted. The kid in the back of the class stands up and he's like, "Oh my God, should we call Principal Snyder?"
He's like, "Should we call the principal?" And Giles is like,
Giles
No,
it's okay. But class is dismissed. All of you leave now.
And then again, wouldn't that alert the principal? He's like, "Why are all these students loitering?"
Listen, but Buffy's, she is pissed.
He says, "What do you know?"
Yeah. And Giles is like, "Take your hands off of her, stop this immediately, calm down."
Yeah. And
she gets to the bottom of it.
Yeah. Jenny says, "I don't know exactly. I was told to watch you and they told me to keep Angel and you apart.
Mm-hmm.
We had to make sure Angel paid for what he did." And Buffy says, "What was I supposed to be paying for?"
Yeah.
And she says, if Angel loses his soul, he achieves perfect happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Welp. And then Buffy says, "Okay, put his soul back. You did it once, you can do it again." And Jenny says, "Those magics are lost.
Right.
I can't help you."
Okay.
Buffy says, "Take me to someone who can."
And Giles is taken back because he's just found out that Jenny Calendar has been keeping a major secret from him.
It's devastating. After she treated him, after the way the Mark of Igon, everything went down, he's got to be feeling all kinds of things.
He's got to be feeling all kinds of things. I think mostly, we know his love for her. So he's probably just at this moment just kind of taken back that
For
she
sure.
would keep such a big secret. I don't think he's fully processed the rest of it
No,
yet.
he hasn't. And that,
Yeah.
it's harmed Buffy and someone Buffy
It
loves.
has.
So,
But he also finds out in this moment that, how did Angel, reach peak happiness?
so we go to Uncle Ineos's place and he thinks Buffy's there because he's like, I knew you would.
Jenny's brought Buffy. I knew that
Right.
she'd bring you.
Yeah, I'm sure you have
You have
questions.
questions. And Angel appears and he says, no. What's he say?
What does he say? I didn't write that down.
I
Sorry.
don't know. Anyway,
Um,
it's Angel. It's not
Angel.
Buffy. And he kills him.
And he kills him, and we'll see that in a couple scenes, but it's
Basically, it's his vengeance.
it's his vengeance.
revenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Angel's like, oh, you thought wrong, my guy. And so do we want to talk about the military base or?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we cut to Sunnydale's military base.
That's
There's
right.
a full ass military base.
It's raining.
It's raining.
And we see Xander and Cordelia kind of sneaking around the base, and they're
sneaking around.
They're just sneaking around. They're headed to a top secret portion of the military
Right.
complex facility, and they get stopped by private.
Yeah, and Oz and Willow are in the getaway van.
They're in which is not conspicuous.
Not at all. This military base, their security is awful. And
It's Sunnydale.
right, the soldiers like, stopping them. And Xander says, I'm Private Harris with the 33rd. And he says, the 33rd are on drills, right?
Yeah, they're not here.
And he's like, I'm on leave. And, I want to give the lady a tour
On maneuvers, yeah.
of maneuvers. I wanted to give her a tour. You know how girls get around the big guns.
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
And
Good old boy.
Right. And he's like, and he's like, hey, if you don't let us in, I'm going to tell Colonel so-and-so that
Colonel Sanders that your shoes aren't spit shined and you
left your post.
regulation. Yeah. And you're snooping around. You're not holding your gun right.
He says, you hold your weapon like a sissy girl. And I'm like,
I'm sick. I need help.
fucking Xander.
So anyway, the private's like, all right, I'll give you 20 minutes.
And
Xander's like, I'm only going to need 5. Ignore the last part. Oh.
so stupid.
Yeah.
And then they go inside and he tells Cordelia, like, when he was a soldier on Halloween, he basically remembers everything, the codes, he's like, I can put a gun together in like 17 seconds.
Yeah.
Point of order. Why isn't he a better fighter? Why isn't he a better tactician?
Well, I asked this question in seasons to come where he actually goes to military school over the summer and comes back and doesn't have any discipline or skills. No fighty skills whatsoever.
No fighty, kick.
Yeah. And Cordelia asked him the strangest question.
Oh,
She
God.
says, so does looking at guns really make girls want to have sex? That's scary. Sandra's like, yeah, I guess. And Cordelia says, well, does looking at guns make you want to have sex? Xander, I'm 17. Looking at linoleum makes me want to have sex.
Which I guess we do establish
That's
again that
the
they,
most Xander line.
yeah, they have not had sex.
They have not.
They've
or at
just been
least,
smooching.
Yeah, they're just
No, with
smooching.
each other. I'm saying with each other. Yeah.
Right.
Then we go to Willow and Oz in the van. Willow looks great. She's got these French braids, this fluffy jacket, these dangly daisy
I
earrings.
love this scene.
And she's talking to Oz, and she basically says,
She says, do you want to
make out with me? He says,
what?
like, I mean, sometimes when I'm in class, I'm not thinking about class. I'm thinking about kissing you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, but I'm not going to kiss you right now. And he says, because in my fantasy, when I'm kissing you, you're kissing me back.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're trying to make your friend jealous.
Yeah.
And he's not interested in that.
No.
And I love Oz.
It's so great.
It is.
Yeah. I thought it was just very sweet.
Yeah.
He says, when I'm kissing you, you're kissing me. Yeah, I don't know. I love that. I love the two of them together.
I do too. Are you ready?
I'd say I'm always ready, but
Hello.
Hello.
Wow.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well. Welcome back, viewers.
Welcome back.
We took a hiatus during the middle of this episode.
Not by choice.
No. This
No.
is totally the fault of the judge.
Yeah, the judge came in,
Demons.
sensed our humanity, destroyed our computers, and here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. I am back from the wilds of Canada.
You are.
With a new sweater and a new haircut. Yeah.
My legs are back from the wild of
Jeans.
jeans, of pants, of pantaloons.
Free the legs, and you have facial hair.
That's right.
Which you didn't when we recorded this.
Yeah, this is it's the end of the brat summer here, folks.
It is going into brat autumn.
Cool.
So we have left Willow and Oz, where Oz was very sweet. He's like, hey, I have fantasies about kissing you, but I don't want to kiss you unless it's me you're kissing.
I loved it. It was very sweet.
It was very sweet.
It's
Those
one of
two
the
were
most
sweet.
touching moments, and the way that Miss Hannigan, plays her face.
Ugh.
And when he gets out of the car, she is in love. He could have kissed her.
He could have. And I love that he tells her, he's like, I'm not going to kiss you.
But he's not going to.
Yeah.
And it's like, buddy.
I love Oz is a
Oof.
great example of communication because he's saying, hey, it seems like you're doing this to make Xander jealous. I don't want any part of that. He's not being harsh or mean, but he's
saying, hey, I've thought about it quite a bit,
yeah.
a lot, and I want to kiss you, but this is not the moment for this to happen. And listen, we've all had that. I hope so. I hope that we've all had a relationship where someone's just like, not yet. Because, man, that can send someone spinning. And she does. Her eyes light up. She's like, this is the guy.
Yeah. Well, at first she's kind of like, what do you mean you won't kiss me? And then I think she
And she got it.
Yeah, and she got it.
Yeah.
Great. Those two are great together.
Great chemistry. Can't wait to see what happens in coming episodes with the two of them.
Will they finally smooch? Who could say?
Won't they?
Love that. Well, now we take a little bit of a dark turn.
Yeah. And things move fast and loose toward the end of this episode, like every Buffy episode. So here we go.
Here we go. So we got Buffy, Jenny, and Giles going to Uncle Enos's apartment and can't get any information from Uncle Enos. Mm-hmm. He is no longer with us.
That's right. He was waiting for someone.
He was.
And the person who walked in was not the person he expected.
Yeah, because I think in the earlier scene, he thinks it's Buffy who, I knew you'd come, and it's Angel.
Right. I knew you'd have questions.
Yeah. Angel has killed Uncle Enos. Like, stakes have been raised. Angel. Hey.
Not yet. Not yet.
And jealous, I should say, because that's going forward. When I talk about Angel, I mean Angel with a soul, and jealous is this guy, right. No soul, killing people left and right. He fully would have killed Willow last episode when he had her, I think, in the school. He's a bad guy. Like, this is serious fucking business.
He's a killer.
He's a killer.
And Jealous is a mass murderer and a psychopath. And
revels in it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they see Uncle Enos's body on the bed, and Angelus has written a message on the wall in blood, and Uncle Enos's blood, and it says, "Was it good for you?"
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's sick.
He's sick, and that's the thing, he revels in it, where I think we'll learn more as we get through the show, and there's always the comparison of Spike and Angel, which, to be very clear, we know that I'm a very pro Spike person. Love Spike. Spike is also a killer. Spike is also not a good guy. Mm-hmm. There's a difference in, like, Spike, I think he kills and he revels in being a vampire, and then, like, this experience, whereas Angel likes to psychologically torture people.
Right.
There's not really evidence of Spike doing that. It's just interesting to see. I mean, and I think Giles makes the comment to Buffy, he's trying to make it harder for you, and Buffy says, no, he's making it easy. I know what I have to do. I have to kill him.
Yeah, and he is making it easier on her. I mean, it's not easy for her.
Right.
But the way he's going, I mean, she kind of wants to kill him.
Yeah, he is hitting her where it hurts. Was it good for you? And earlier he's like, oh, you don't, what is he? He's just so mean when he's
mean. He's not Angel any longer.
No.
And so it's easier for her now to process, hey, this is not the same guy.
No, this is a different person.
They look alike. They, are technically the same physical, person.
Yeah.
But they're not the same individual.
Right.
And so it's easier for her, keep murdering, boy, because it's just making things easier it's making her decision to do this. Although it's really not.
It's right. Yeah. Whew. So we cut
She's
to
conflicted.
She is, and I think Sarah Michelle Gellar does a great job.
I'm
of
conflicted because I still see Angelus come across the screen, and I'm picturing the Angel that we had just a couple of episodes ago, where it's like they were making it work, and maybe this is a possibility. He's the guy who's gonna come help save the day when the Scoobies need just a little extra oomph.
They need some muscle, yeah. Well, it's like Giles says at the end, which I can't wait to get to that scene. He's like, he has proven on more than one occasion that he loves you when he's talking to Buffy. And
yes.
Yeah, and David Boreanaz's a tip of the cap to him because he does a great job at like.
That's right.
You look at him and you're like, oh, this is Angel, and then Angela says or does something horrible. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, so just as a watcher,
hey,
I get it. I'm confused, Buffy.
Yeah. Well, we cut to the lair and they're getting ready to go, and Spike is still in his wheelchair. Pity party for him.
Cannot with his wheelchair and Spike.
It's still got the burns on his face. And again, it raises the question, what is vampire healing really like? I don't know. And they're getting ready to go wherever. We'll find out soon enough. And Angel goes to the judge. He and Drusilla are on the way out. Says, don't you look spiffy? And then the judge does the spiffy.
So strange.
Brian Thompson's so good. Love him.
Angel, Spike's having a pity party, as he said.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go with you. What if Buffy comes? He's like, I'll take care of her or something like that. And then
he says, I'll give her a kiss.
I'll give her a kiss. But as this line is happening, or just right before it, Drew has crouched down and she's, tending to Spike. And Angel just takes her hand and leads her away. And you can just tell it's just
Spike.
really irking
Oh,
him. It's just like grinding his gears.
He hates it. He hates it so much.
And that's unjealous. He's just he just revels in that kind of shit.
He does. That's the psychological torture that he really enjoys. It's
but if Spike was
was
up and walking, the two of them, they'd go at it for sure.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. Stay tuned for our fan. Get back to the school.
Yeah, we're in the library. The library.
This blows my mind that this is happening in the school.
How are they still? Does Giles just have a set of keys? He must, and they lock the. Snyder's never there.
What are they unloading out of that van? It looks like a giant crate that says U.S. Army weapon on it.
Why is the librarian hanging out with the same 4 to 5 students?
Right.
There's now more. It was just Buffy, Willow, and Xander. Now Cordelia's there. Oz is there.
I want a POV of the custodians and, just other staffers at school or people who like work across the street. I mean, can you imagine it's like at the window with like popcorn? Like, what is happening over there? Yeah.
Fuck. Like, what are they
Cordelia,
doing?
like driving around and blasting through doors.
And then you get we should do the insurance company too. Be like, oh, the library's been destroyed again? Huh. I don't know if you're covered this time, Bob.
Oh, looks like you're covered.
Yeah, right. Whole new library coming in hot. So Xander drops the bazooka. We find out it's a bazooka. And he's like, happy birthday, Buffy. Hope you like it. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. It's just, I don't even care about Xander. And this scene, though, it's so powerful because it's Giles and Buffy, and they're looking at the bazooka. Buffy has asked Xander to show her how to use it. And Jenny comes up and she says, is there something I can do?
And Buffy says, no, get out.
Get out.
Leave. And, Jenny says, Giles, and...
Or because I think she says, I just want to help.
I just want to help. And Giles looks at, is facing her, and then he turns his back to her and asks her to leave.
Yeah, he says, she said, get out.
She said, get out. And, that is so powerful. And as soon as Jenny turns around and is out the door, Giles immediately turns around and looks for her. Like, I mean, that was not easy for him.
No, and Buffy, I love the look that Buffy gives Giles, it's a thankful look, and almost like a, I know this is hard for you look. Like,
he did the right thing.
He did the right thing 1,000%.
Yeah.
I love that Buffy, in the way Sarah Michelle Gellar plays it, it's almost like she not feels bad, but she knows this is hard for Giles, and she appreciates having an adult support her.
Having her back,
because we love you, Joyce, but
Joyce has no clue what's going on.
The Ted of it all is still in the back.
Oh, yeah. No, it stings for sure. Yeah.
And Hank Summers is tootling in LA.
Yeah, he's tootling something.
Living his best life. So we go back to the lair. Buffy and the gang have just casually strolled into the lair.
Yeah, they've made their way to the vamp lair.
Yeah, and you had a comment on the set. The big table and chairs.
Oh my God. The table and chairs look like the dining room set from Beetlejuice. This long table. Just cold, like the tall, the dining room chairs with the tall backs on it.
Yeah.
That just look like stiff as a board.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
But Spike.
He's lurking.
He's in a wheelchair. You're looking for vampires in their lair, and you're telling me you miss the guy hiding around the corner in his wheelchair?
But Buffy's Slayer senses were tingling and she finds him. Oh, wait, she doesn't.
No tingling.
No, well, just speak for yourself.
For her. Buffy's Slayer senses are not tingling. Yours might be.
Yeah, no, the Slayer senses kills me. It kills me. I love this show so much, but they really cannot commit to that. Spike was 2 feet away behind.
He's right there.
He's right there.
If you can't smell, I'm sure he stinks. Vampires have to smell, right?
I don't think so.
You think he showers?
I don't think they have to.
I guess he doesn't.
They don't sweat. They don't secrete
anyway,
anything. Yeah.
Well, they cry.
Do these cry? We haven't seen them cry.
Don't these vampires cry? Do
I don't
they
think
cry
so.
blood?
That's
What?
True Blood.
Oh my God, I'm getting it all mixed up.
Okay. So I have to just shout out little fashion slay for me. Willow's overalls. They're like just great overalls in general, but it's the Tasmanian devil and his mouth is the zipper, like the pocket right here.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Is this daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime now. It's nighttime now. Yeah. I think.
Is it?
Yeah, because they were at the army base. It's raining at nighttime. It's the same night. We're doing the same night.
Okay.
I think that's what it. Sure.
Hang in there, folks.
Yeah. And so they're like, God, where would they go? And then,
we're thanking the bronze.
Because it's basically, if you're going to line people up and like suck out their humanity.
As they have.
Right. Where would you go? We were like, yeah, the bronze.
Yeah. Or the alley of the bronze.
Au contraire, mon frère.
Uh-huh.
Let's go to the mall.
The mall, which is hopping tonight.
People have bags. They are shopping. They are consuming. It's great.
What time of year is this? Are they holiday shopping? Because there's a lot of people in this mall. Then again, this is also 1998, so there were
a lot of people would be. You would go to the mall after work and take care of some errands and things like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So the mall is because Oz is like, I know where I would go. Mm-hmm. Cut to the mall, and they all get there and they're setting up, and this poor gentleman with his bags.
He's
just
walking
trying to
up the staircase, trying to head home to see the fam.
See the missus or the mister.
Maybe picked up a little something from Fredericks of Hollywood.
Oh, I was going to say, what did Buffy say in the earlier episode? Moo-moos are us.
No. This gentleman is a sugar daddy. He's got something.
Whoa! Okay. I love this backstory. Well, that Fredericks
he was. This is what he gets for sinning. He gets judged by the demon. He's taken by a demon.
And the poor guy is just zapped.
And he's gone. And, not to spoil it, but he's the only casualty in this war. Poor guy.
Yeah, so Buffy's here and, she's like, okay, you guys you're back here. I'll handle the Smurf is what she calls the judge. And... she's Buffy. She is in the Slayer mode. She's like, you guys are here. I'm going to take point. Let's go. And she stands up on it's a popcorn. It's like a kiosk in the middle. It's got popcorn and stuff. Buffy stands up. She's getting ready. And the judge starts doing this communal zap.
Yeah. So he zaps people on the staircase and then those zaps turn into other zaps. And so everyone except for Buffy and the Scoobies.
How do you explain that?
You can't. They are all being zapped.
Yeah, they're not killed like Fredericks of Hollywood guy.
No, he went pretty quick.
It was like bada bing.
But maybe with more people, it takes a little bit longer to kind of get it warmed up.
Okay.
He's having a little performance anxiety.
Goodbye. Gotta go. So while he's in the middle of his communal zapping, crossbow to the chest.
Buffy,
he snaps it. Buffy shot him with a crossbow, and he's like, oh, who dares?
Right. What's he say? No weapon forged can kill me.
And then Buffy.
She's like, well, that was then.
Yeah.
Hits him with the crossbow, which was forged at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Pulls out the bazooka.
Yeah.
Which was not forged at the time of this prophecy or this spell or whatever this is.
Sure. But I still don't understand how they make this work because it's not forged. but it's still a man-made weapon.
I think that the terminology for man-made weapon at the time would have been forged. I don't know if they would have said man-made
Sure.
weapon. Yeah. Hey,
Sure.
fast and loose. Half them all zapped, and these other 5 people are not.
It's magic. Okay.
Don't ask questions.
No, I still love this episode though. Yeah. So he, Angel, I do love this.
Mm-hmm.
Buffy's loaded up, and Angel and Drusilla look at each other like, and they start running away.
Yeah, they don't have the same sort of capability to survive a bazooka.
No.
So I guess we know now that vampires can be killed by a bazooka.
They can be, I guess, yeah, that's another way you can explode a vampire.
I guess. I mean, yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Oh, I guess they do say if you remove the head.
But I guess they would have been blown to smithereens for sure.
So, okay. And I do love right, smithereens. And the judge, Brian Thompson, again, gives a great line. What's that do?
He's got great eyes.
Brian Thompson's a great actor. I don't know. I could look at IMDb. I don't know what he's been up to lately, but he was everywhere, I feel like, in the 90s, 2000s, and I want to see more of him on my TV screen. I hope he's alive.
I mean, they kind of have the same body type. Anyway.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So the judge scatters, like he's blown to smithereens, which how are there not more casualties? I guess because he's a magical demon that
the rest of the mall wasn't blown up at the same time.
Sure, this is a military grade weapon.
But he's such a powerful demon, like you said. Yeah. He absorbed all of that. It took all of that to destroy him.
Yeah, that's where it all had to go.
Cool.
Buffy tells the Scoobies, gather the pieces. Cortina's like, pick up the pieces. Our job sucks. And Buffy chases Angel to the movie theater in the mall. And
because of all the smoke.
Oh, yes.
The sprinkler systems have gone off.
Sure.
So we have this epic scene set between these 2 former lovers.
Yep.
And he's been baiting her this entire episode.
Uh-huh.
And she's had about enough.
She has had it officially.
Buffy is royally pissed off.
She is. She's angry.
Yeah.
And they get into a fight. They start fighting. And I just had to note there's a poster for a cartoon I loved as a kid called Quest for Camelot.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's one of the movie advertisements there. And yeah, he's just baiting her. And they cut back to the Scoobies and they're picking up the pieces. And Oz is like, arm. He doesn't want to pick it up. And we go back to Angel and Buffy and he's just taunting her. He's like, you want it, huh? And that's when she really just pop. Yeah. And then
they get pretty violent with one another. It's a great fight scene. Like you said, they choreographed it very well because it's believable. Every time he strikes her, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But just the way it's done is well
right.
done. Yeah.
It's not comfortable to watch, but it is just the choreography of it all is better than some of the more recent fight scenes we've seen.
It's not the typical fighty kick.
Yes.
This has got more, oomph to it.
Yeah. And it is so hard to see them fighting because like you pointed out a minute ago, we're just coming off them reaching a new level of intimacy in their relationship. They were very passionate about each other and very much in love. And to see them fighting, I mean, Buffy and Angel at this, it's just, wow. I mean, I could imagine watching this live. What a twist. What a turn of events.
Yeah.
This is my umpteenth time watching it. And I knew kind of going in that Angel turned bad. But just could you imagine, you're a casual viewer, 1997, 98, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a lot of mixed emotions.
Yeah. And she gets him on the back foot. She pulls out the stake and she hesitates. And he sees it and he says, you can't do it. You can't kill me. And she kicks him in the nads and says, give me time.
Yeah. She should kill him. She should have killed him.
She should have. We understand why she didn't.
We know.
But in the grand scheme of things, she should have killed him.
Absolutely.
Because this isn't a spoiler. I'm just talking in general. This choice could lead to the death of herself, her friends, her mother, her loved ones. I mean, he's already proven that he'll kill. He killed Uncle Enyos. Mm-hmm. If Xander and Jenny Calendar didn't realize in time what was going on with Willow in the school, he would have probably killed Willow and left a trail of Buffster.
This
I get
isn't the
it.
first time either. She's let a few vampires go. She let Drew and Spike go. And I mean, they were casting a spell. I mean, they're the whole reason that Angel is Angelus now.
No, not
Right?
really.
Hey,
No, it's because he had sex with Buffy. He lost his soul.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the spell.
No, that's how
that
Drew.
gave Drew powers. I'm
yes,
sorry.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
It's been a month. The mall has been invaded. A man perished. He was zapped to death by,
Is there even was there
by something that doesn't exist anymore.
a body left?
There was a bazooka. There were remnants of a body that were picked up. There's
theft.
nothing left of the man from Fredericks of Hollywood. Fred.
R.I.P. Fred. May your memory be a blessing.
So I don't know. This just drives me absolutely bazonkers. I don't know.
Gotta
anyway.
go. No, I get it. And I mean,
They should be giving statements.
where's the military? They had a weapon stolen from the premises.
Well, that probably happens more than we want to acknowledge or even consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just have to laugh because it's like,
ridiculous.
oh, well, Buffy, I'll give you your lift home. And it's like, excuse me.
Did no one in the mall call the police?
This would be on national news.
1,000%. No one at the mall was like,
Not in Sunnydale.
hey, 911, there is a blue man who has lightning coming out of his hands.
All of those witnesses.
All those witnesses. Poor Fred's wife and mistress are like,
Where's Fred?
where's Fred?
There's no like next to kin notification.
Oh, God. Yeah, Buffy, Giles, and everyone's like, our work is done.
Well, it's my birthday. I got to get home.
Gotta
Can you
get
drop
home.
me off? Yeah, I'll drop you off.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go.
Here we go.
Buffy and Giles
Buffy
rolling
and
up to her
Giles.
house in Giles' car, which I love.
It's great. Is it a Citroen?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so.
And
And I love every time they drive up in the car and they turn it off. Like Sunnydale's the quietest place at night. All you hear crickets.
yeah, they're in the car. And Giles says, he's going to come after you. And he's not harping on her. He's just like talking like, hey, this is going to be tough.
Right.
And she says, yeah, you must be so disappointed in me. And he immediately says, no,
No, I'm not.
no, I'm not. Oh, it just gets me. She's a child. Buffy is so young.
Yeah, she's like, I don't understand. It's my fault. He
Yeah.
says, no, I don't believe that it is. Do you want me to wag my finger at you and tell you that you acted rashly? He's like, well, you did, and I can. And I know that you loved him.
Yeah.
And he has proven more than once that he loved you, and you couldn't have known what would happen.
Could have if Jenny Calendar would have opened her mouth. But anywho.
He said the coming months are going to be hard, and I suspect on all of them.
Yeah.
But your guilt that you're looking for, Buffy, he's like, if I'm not your man, like I'm not going to hold you accountable for
He's not
this.
going to make her feel
I'm not going
guilty.
to make you feel guilty. Yeah. He said, all you're going to get from me is my support and my respect.
Ugh. We need a Giles. Everybody needs a Giles. Like, it's so again, I have to give credit to Joss Whedon and everyone who wrote this scene, but also just this idea, and Sarah Michelle Gellar for her acting, because
yeah, she smiles at him through her tears. It's just like it's a great scene between these two.
it is. Like, I mean, as a former 17-year-old girl, 17-year-old girl, having sex for the first time is a big deal. I'm not talking about virginity. I'm just talking about the first time you have sex with somebody.
Yeah.
And especially for women, and in this time period, there was a little bit of shame attached to it. You're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. Does this change you? Does this make you a bad person? And you don't want to let down the adults in your life. You don't want to disappoint them.
Mm-hmm.
And then add on top of the fact that first time you had sex with somebody who you love, they've turned out to be a murdering demon. Sure. And again, that not exactly happened to me, but the first person I had sex with turned out to not be a good person, and they were very cruel and mean, and broke my heart. And this is just so relatable for everyone, and I love that they were able to do that and frame it with, the monster of the week of it all. And
especially a teenager, like you said, someone who's kind of new to all this and having these feelings, and it's, she's quick to blame herself. And I think that we learn over time that it's not our fault,
Right.
but we're still human, and it's human nature to question whether we made the mistake.
Yes.
A lot of victims in various capacities will question, did I do something?
Yeah.
Was it me?
Was it me?
And, at any age. And here we are, we have a very healthy, communicative moment between Giles, who's the adult in this scenario, also her watcher, also her friend, and someone who over the past 2 seasons have worked together to build trust and to build respect. And he is there to support her. And he's going to need her support moving forward because, he's probably feeling pretty sad about what happened to him. He's probably having the same feelings. Did I do something wrong? Should I have noticed that, Jenny
was hiding something,
keeping something from me?
Yeah.
And we'll get to that as we go on to the next few episodes. But this is a very heartfelt moment. And
it is.
I love it.
Love it. So we go to Buffy's house. We see old film playing on the TV.
Joyce is waiting up for the birthday girl.
Yeah. Buffy's on the couch in comfy socks, comfy pants, nice sweater. Joyce comes in with a mug and 2 cupcakes on a plate. And, she asked Buffy, like, did you have a good birthday? Or what does she say first? Like, sorry, I didn't have time to bake you a cake. Cupcakes look great. I love a cupcake.
She was busy.
The gallery. She's a single mom who works 2 jobs.
Does her taxes. She does her own taxes.
Who dates robots.
I love it. They look so comfy. This is my sleigh. Fashion sleigh.
Bar none.
Both of them on the couch in these very comfy, like little sweatshirts, oversized sweatshirts, and sweatpants, and like chunky socks. And
so great.
I told Jenny, I was like, in this moment, I literally just want to run and jump into the TV onto that couch set with
so
them.
Comfy. Yeah.
It's great.
It's great. And, she asked Buffy, like, did you have fun? And Buffy says, I got older. And it's like, obviously something is wrong. And this is a sweet scene because she lays her head on, or Joyce lights a candle. She says, you're going to blow it out, make a wish. And Buffy says, I'm going to just let it burn.
Yeah, Buffy's deep in thought. You can tell she's really sad.
She's traumatized.
She is.
And Joyce, love you, gal. But as a mother, even with a 6 and a 4-year-old, I know when something is up.
You got to ask questions.
You got to ask. Just a simple, like, hey, how are you feeling? Mm-hmm. Is there anything you need?
Yeah.
But Joyce just doesn't ask.
She just lets, Buffy kind of nestle into her shoulder and they just kind of sit and have a moment, which is sweet. But you're the mom. Yeah. You're the adult. Ask the question.
Ask the question.
And also, Buffy, tell your mom about.
I think she really wants to, and I think you can see that. I think you can see that in her face in this moment.
You need someone to talk to. You can't just go home and keep that stuff bottled
That's
inside.
got to also be a massive weight. Like, sure, you have Giles and the Scoobies, but to go home and like pretend that you're not out there killing vampires, dealing with your lover who's now like a murderous demon, like that's some heavy shit, Buff.
Yeah, I mean, I think she feels alone. And, I think a lot of people can relate to this, but to go home and to not have someone to share your thoughts to or to express how you're feeling with, it's a lot for you to keep inside, and you have to figure out a healthy way for her to process that.
Yeah.
And, again, Joyce is the parent of this situation. She should recognize that there's something that Buffy's not telling her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to pry.
No.
But she could totally probe and just say, hey, if you want to talk, I'm here no matter what it is. I love you.
Yep.
I won't react the way that I did with Ted.
Nice.
It's anyway.
No, I mean,
we
that's
don't get that.
One of the things I've learned in therapy is like we grew up in the era and everybody did, where if you think something's wrong with somebody, and I've had to retrain myself and I still do it, instead of being like, what's wrong, right, which is accusatory, and like already put a label on something, right, asking, hey, how are you feeling? And like you just said, hey, maybe it seems like something's different. Maybe you're upset about something. If I'm off, my bad. But I'm here no matter what it is. You want to talk? Cool. If you don't, let me know how I can help. How can I support you?
Yeah.
But we just sit there and Joyce rubs her head and we cut to credits.
Would you say something about like feelings when we first watched it. You're like,
Oh.
oh, nope, can't talk about our
You
feelings.
can't conceal, don't feel.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Can cut my mumbling.
And that was our 2-part episode for Surprise and Innocence.
That took us weeks to finish, but we're
Fuck.
here for you.
We're here for you. We are dedicated.
We're-
We are very demure.
We are putting in the hard work.
We are.
We're very mindful.
We're very cutesy.
And we are very thankful.
We are. Thank you all who listen, who watch, and support us. Ryan,
Jenny,
do you know what time it is?
what time is it?
Oh, someone put a stake in me.
That is so cool. Yeah, look at this thing that Ryan found, everyone. Ryan found an actual steak that's got Slayer carved in it. It's great.
Watch
Okay.
out, vampires.
Watch out. So, are we going to rate Surprise and Innocence as
Yes.
1? Okay, great. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
Okay, lay it on
Okay.
us. What'd you rate Surprise and Innocence?
Both of these combined episodes, I think, are 4-5.
Yeah.
I think they're great.
All day.
We get the transformation of Angelus.
Mhm.
We have the transformation of Buffy and Angelus's relationship, Buffy and Angel's relationship. The judge, great little monster of the week.
He was great. I liked him.
He's
And
a bit of a side plot that at points I had completely forgotten about, quite frankly. But again, I love the character actor who portrays the judge.
yeah, Brian Thompson.
We have a lot of character development for Buffy
Yes.
in this episode. And also we have character developments concurring for Spike and Drusilla.
Yeah.
We have Jenny and Giles. We've got Cordelia and Xander. And we have Willow and Xander and Willow and Oz and Buffy and Joyce. There are so many relationship dynamics that are transforming in these 2 episodes that are leading us further down, which is great because we enjoy the little side Monster of the Week episodes where it's like, ha ha ha, and the Scooby Gang comes out and all's well.
Bad eggs and all that. Yeah.
This is one of these 2 episodes do the heavy lifting into the story.
Yes.
Like they're moving the story along the canon, and what we see on the other side of this completely different in relationship dynamics between all of these characters.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I do too.
We have waited a season and a half to get here, and here we are.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's like this rising tide that's lifting all of these characters forward.
Yeah, I agree. This is where Buffy becomes Buffy. And, to echo you, I also gave it a 4.5. They're great episodes. This again, the stakes are raised. Things in this world and this universe and these characters have now changed irrevocably. And there's no going back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not that like Buffy dying and facing the Master wasn't a big deal, but this just feels more intense, more intentional. And this is where I think everybody watching Buffy and the people a part of Buffy were like, oh, this is what this show is and can be.
Yeah.
And they nailed it. Yeah.
They did. And they're setting up the end of the season.
Oh, boy, howdy.
And we're moving fast into the end of the season here, folks.
Yeah, we are.
We're almost to season 3 of Buffy and the podcast.
Yeah. Can't wait. So we're not going to do a spoiler. This has been a long episode, and we could spoil the whole show at this point.
There'd be a lot of spoilers at this point. So
Yeah.
you're just going to have to hang tight.
Hang tight. But we really
Cool.
appreciate you being here.
Yes, we do.
Yes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to like and subscribe on your preferred streaming service.
And don't miss our Unhinged episodes.
Yeah.
They come out every Wednesday. You can watch and listen to Once More, a rewatch podcast, and Unhinged on Spotify and YouTube, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, absolutely. To keep up with new episode drops and our additional fun content, follow us on social media. We are at Once More Podcast on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Please go over to YouTube if you haven't already. And we are at the Once More Pod on X sometimes.
Thank you for tuning in to Once More. We will see you next Friday for episode 13 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 2, Phases.
Woo! I'm Jen Katz.
And I am Ryan something.
And remember, all you'll get from us is our support and our respect. Bye.